Chapter 1363, Cold Frost Pill 4. After hearing the Yin clan's first elder's words, all the elders fell silent. After hearing the first elder's explanation, they also realized the seriousness of the matter. The first elder of the Hong family wasn't the patriarch of the Yin family. Not only was that old man powerful, but he was also very stingy. It wasn't easy to get compensation from him, and they might want more than one, which made it a bit difficult. First elder, it's not easy to deal with the Hong family. I'm afraid that those people are not easy to negotiate with. Moreover, the compensation we have to pay is still in their hands. Why don't you go and tell them what exactly they need to give a straightforward answer? If this drags on, the longer it drags on, the more uncertain I will be. One of the elders said fearfully. He didn't know why, but compared to the head elder of the Hong family, he seemed to be more afraid of the people living in the guest house. You think I don't want to know? In the beginning, I sent people to ask every day, but they told me that they hadn't decided yet. What could I do? The Yin clan's first elder said in a depressed manner. It's been a few days. Why haven't you decided yet? The elders were all puzzled. I don't know, but you'd better be prepared. This time, the Yin clan will definitely bleed a lot. Yin tribe's first elder was afraid that the other elders were not mentally prepared, so he cautiously reminded them again. Great elder, does the head of the family know that the other party also wants the Hong family to compensate? At this moment, another elder asked, I haven't mentioned this to the master yet. I don't want him to worry about this, so don't let him know about this. The Yin clan's first elder reminded the other elders. However, did the other party say what their reason for wanting compensation is? After the elders nodded, they continued to ask. He said it. The other party said that the Hong family head also wanted to kill them and cause them to panic, so they asked for compensation from the Hong family. The Yin clan's first elder said speechlessly. He really did not know who was the one who caused panic. Why was it that when someone asked for compensation, they asked for it so naturally? On the other hand, they had to be overcautious. He also wanted to be like the other party. However, as soon as he thought of the devilish man's money-making methods, his heart began to beat faster. Great elder, since the other party's reason is so sufficient, then you should directly speak to the Hong family's great elder like this. As for whether the Hong family will compensate them or not, that's not something we can decide. An elder suggested. I've thought about it, but I'm afraid that the great elder of the Hong family will fly into a rage out of humiliation. You all know that no one on the divine mainland can cure a patriarch's injuries. With our strength, it's impossible for us to go to the divine world to ask for elixirs. There's been no news from the main family until now, so I'm sure they haven't found any elixirs that can cure our patriarch. Therefore, we can only rely on the great elder of the Hong family. I'm afraid our clan head. Yin clan's first elder only finished half of his sentence and did not continue, because he knew that all the elders present understood. First elder, this won't do, that won't do. What should we do about this? The elders of the Yin family all frowned. This matter made them feel very conflicted. After much discussion, the Yin clan's elders were still unable to come to a conclusion. The Yin clan's first elder was rather helpless. In the end, he could only go and see Lung Ruoshua personally. Thanks in the guest courtyard. Lung Ruoshua sat on the main seat in the living room and looked at the Yin clan's first elder and the rest. She could not help but laugh in her heart. It seemed like the Yin clan's first elder and the rest could no longer keep their cool. Otherwise, they would not have come knocking on their door so quickly. Miss Lung, your maidservant came to tell me today that you also want the Hong family to compensate. The Yin clan's first elder said with a smile. Yup. However, the people of the Hong clan are now in the hands of your Yin clan, so we can only leave our matter to Great Elder Yin. Lung Ruoshua chuckled. Young Lady Lung, I'm afraid this matter is a bit difficult to handle. Yin tribe's first elder said with a bitter face. What's so difficult about it? The patriarch of the Hong family and so many elders are in your hands. Can't the first elder of the Yin family even handle such a small matter? Or is it that the Yin clan's first elder is not giving us face and is deliberately trying to avoid it. Lung Roashua laughed coldly. Miss Lung, we really don't have a choice, because the first elder of the Hong family won't agree at all, and that old man is holding it. Based on my understanding of him, if the compensation we ask for is too much, he would rather give up the Hong family members in our hands and give us even a little bit of compensation. So, do you think your compensation can be excluded from our Yin family S? The Yin clan's first elder had come to an agreement, and his attitude was extremely good. The reason why he was like this was because he hoped that Lung Roashua would give up on her own idea. It would be best if they could settle the score with the Hong clan themselves and not involve the Yin clan. However, how could Lung Roashua let him have his wish? The matter between the Hong clan, and I can choose not to involve your Yin clan. As long as you hand over the Hong clan head and the elders to me, I will go and discuss the compensation with the Hong clan myself. Lung Roashua chuckled. The Yin clan's first elder was depressed because he would never agree to Lung Roashua's condition. If they didn't have any important figures in the Hong clan, what bargaining chips would they have to negotiate with the Hong clan's first elder? If Great Elder Yin doesn't agree, then help us get the compensation from the Hong family. Lung Roashua said with a light smile. That's impossible. If you want to get any benefits from the Hong family, go and ask them for it yourself. Don't drag us into it. At this time, an elder with a bad temper from the Yin clan couldn't bear it anymore and spoke. Great Elder Yin, you have two choices. One is to hand over the people of the Hong family to me, and the other is to ask for compensation from the Hong family for us. Choose one. You guys decide for yourselves. Ziyu, send the guest away. Lung Roashua glanced at the elder who spoke and said coldly. With that, she turned around and left the living room. Elders, please return. By the way, if you anger my master, you'll end up in a miserable state. Ziyu said with a smile. After she finished speaking, she even deliberately released her pressure and invited the Yin clan elders out of the guest courtyard. Chapter 1364, Cold Frost Pill 5. The elders of the Yin clan left the guest hall in a sorry state and returned to the meeting hall drenched in sweat. At this time, their faces still carried a trace of shock and disbelief, and the back of their clothes was completely drenched in their own sweat. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that the man with the looks of an early-stage true god was actually hiding his true strength. What was even more unexpected was that they were unable to withstand a mere pressure from him, and almost made a fool of themselves on the spot. If it wasn't for the man who had left them some face, they might not have the face to see anyone in the future. It was too terrifying. At this point, they had a new understanding of Lung Roashua and the other's abilities. Not long after they returned to the main hall, the elders who had gone to find Yin Xiao also returned with ugly expressions. After sitting down, the elders were silent for a long time. After a long time, First Elder, why don't we help them ask for compensation from the Hong family? Someone said. Sob, those people were too scary. They couldn't afford to offend him. Yup, Great Elder. Although the patriarch's illness is very important, if we anger them, I'm afraid the entire Yin family will have to answer. An elder agreed. Yup, the Great Elder. We can't afford to offend these people. All the elders agreed. Right now, they were extremely resentful of the trouble that the Yin clan's eldest master had caused. If it wasn't for the fact that the Yin clan's eldest master was no longer in this world, they would definitely have given him a good beating first before handing him over to Lung Roashua and the others to deal with. Since that's the case, then let's settle the score with the Hong family together. Yin tribe's first elder said tearlessly, Clan Lord, I'll let you down. It was such a good opportunity, but we didn't grasp it. He couldn't help but feel sad in his heart. After making his decision, he went to the clan head's room in the main courtyard and reported the matter to him. At the same time, he also told him that there were people who seemed to be from the God realm by Lung Roashua's side. After the Yin family had heard this, he didn't say much and just nodded his head, letting the first elder handle it. Following that, the Yin clan's first elder paid a visit to the guest courtyard where Lung Roashua and the others were staying. As he sat in the living room waiting to be received, The Yin clan's first elder was extremely depressed. This was clearly his home, but why did he seem like a guest? So uneasy? Especially Ziyu, who was sitting with him not far away, made his heart thump even more. It jumped wildly without stopping. Great Elder Yin, you've decided so quickly? At this moment, Lung Ruoxua walked in from outside and said with a smile, "Yes. Miss Lung, we decided to help you get compensation from the Hong family." Yin tribe's first elder quickly said, "P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM, that's more like it. There's strength in numbers. Even if that first elder of the Hong clan is trying to knock on the door, he would have to consider the situation. Otherwise, he will only bring the Hong clan to a dead end." Even though Lung Ruoxu's words were directed at the Hong clan, she was also trying to warn the Yin clan's first elder. Miss Lung's words make sense. Yin tribe's first elder echoed, but he was somewhat absent-minded. Is Great Elder Yin worried about your clan head's illness? Lung Ruoxua glanced at the Yin clan's first elder and said, how did Miss Ling know? The Yin clan's first elder was deeply shocked by Lung Ruoxua's ability to read people's expressions. Although it was no secret that the clan head was currently bedridden, he thought he had concealed it very well. He didn't expect that the other party would actually see through it. From this, it could be seen how meticulous the other party's thoughts were. "It's all written on your face," Lung Ruoxua said helplessly. That's right. Our patriarch was injured by the Grand Elder of the Hong family, and the divine skill used by the Grand Elder is a family heirloom of the Hong family. In the entire Hong family, only the Grand Elder is able to use it, and our patriarch's injuries can only be healed by the person who injured him. The Yin clan's first elder lightly sighed, a helpless look on his face. Other than the first elder of the Hong family, who can cure your master's injuries, can't any other healing pills do the same? Lung Ruoxua asked curiously. It seemed like she would have to meet the first elder of the Hong family and see what kind of godly skill he had used to cause such an injury that only he could heal. Medicinal pills are fine too, but they're extremely difficult to find and can't be concocted by ordinary alchemists. The great elder of the Yin clan said with a worried look. There had been no news from a main clan for a long time, so they had given up on the pills. The great elder of the Hong clan was their greatest hope, but under the pressure of Lung Ruoxua and the others, they had no choice but to give up 100% of their hope. Now, they could only pray that the great elder of the Hong clan would not give up on the clansmen of the Hong clan who were currently locked up in the Yin clan's prison. Otherwise, they would really have no more hope. "May I know what kind of medicinal pill you need?" Lung Ruoxua asked again. She had quite a number of pills with her, but she didn't know if there were any that they needed. Furthermore, if it wasn't for the Yin clan's wise decision, she wouldn't have returned the favor. If we want to cure the master's injury, we need the frost pill. The herbs required to refine that pill are very rare. Furthermore, the frost pill is very difficult to refine. That's why we have been unable to find it. The Yin clan's first elder explained. "Frost pill? I just happen to have one in my hands." Lung Ruoxu's words immediately caused the first elder to fall into a daze. Seeing first elder's reaction, Lung Ruoxua didn't say anything else. She waited for him to digest this information. In fact, other than the rare ingredients required to refine the frost pill, it was not considered a very good healing pill. Moreover, the frost pill could only treat injuries caused by the cold attribute. Therefore, it was a very unpopular pill. Very few alchemists would refine this kind of pill that almost no one wanted. The reason why she had this kind of pill in her hands was because her ice attribute beasts liked to eat pills as snacks. In order to satisfy their appetite, she had refined all kinds of pills in case they needed it. In addition to the pills that Zheng In and his disciples used to practice, she had a lot of these less popular pills. "Young Lady Lung, do you really have a frost pill?" After a long time, the Yin clan's first elder regained his senses and asked in disbelief. Of course. After speaking, Lung Ruoxua took out a cold jade bottle from her bracelet. Inside the bottle was the cold frost pill that the Yin clan's first elder had mentioned. Looking at the small jade bottle that was emitting waves of cold air, The Yin clan's first elder felt waves of excitement in his heart. He couldn't believe that he would be so lucky. Initially, he had wanted to use the Hong clan's members to threaten the first elder so that he would cure the family head's injuries. He had also been prepared for the first elder to take the opportunity to lower his conditions. However, he didn't expect Lung Ruoxue to give him such a big surprise. With this, why would he have to accommodate the first elder of the Hong clan? After using Lung Ruoxue's cold frost pill to heal the clan head's injuries, he would be able to take control of the situation. Thinking of this, he suddenly became excited. Young Lady Lung, this cold frost pill is exactly what our clan head is in urgent need of. If you have any conditions, please state them. I am willing to pay a high price for this pill. The Yin clan's first elder said, suppressing the excitement in his heart. With this frost pill, he would no longer have to worry about the clan head's injuries. Furthermore, he would be able to hold the initiative when negotiating with the Hong clan. I can give you the frost pill, but I only have one request. That is, when Great Elder Yin is negotiating with the Great Elder of the Hong clan, do not go easy on him. We'll do our best to obtain as many benefits as possible. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Don't worry, Miss Lung. I've been thinking too much because of the master's injury, but now that I have the frost pill, I don't have to worry about it anymore. This time, it'll settle all the old and new scores with the Hong family. However, the Great Elder of the Hong family is a cold person. I'm afraid he'd rather not take the members of the Hong family than spend so much money, the Yin clan's first elder said worriedly. Chapter 1365. The Furious First Elder of the Hong Family. 1. That will depend on Great Elder Yan's ability. The master of the Hong family and so many elders are in your hands. I think that even if the Great Elder of the Hong family is heartless, he can't possibly ignore the life and death of so many clansmen. If he really didn't care, wouldn't you be able to do whatever you want of those Hong family members? I don't believe that he won't feel heartache, but there's a high chance that he'll use Master Yan's injuries to threaten you, so you have to be mentally prepared. Lung Ruoxue chuckled as she reminded him. Miss Lung's words are reasonable. I will take precautions in advance. No matter how cunning that old fox is, I will not let him escape easily this time. Yin clan's first elder guaranteed. Yes. Also, this is the list of compensation we want. After Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, she nodded towards Ziyu. Ziyu understood her meaning and took out a thin piece of paper from her storage ring, handing it to the Yin clan's first elder. After the Yin clan's great elder received it, he swept a glance over it. Immediately, his heart began to twitch, and he couldn't help but feel disgusted. Woo! These people were really too ruthless. Although he had long prepared in his heart that the other party would demand an exorbitant price, the compensation they wanted had still exceeded his expectations. This time, his Yin clan would probably have to pay until they went bankrupt. However, he didn't dare to have the slightest thought of reneging on the debt, because as long as he thought of Ziya's shocking strength, his heart would tremble. Don't be afraid, Great Elder. This is all the compensation you and the Hong family have to offer. I've written it all down. Do you understand what I mean, Great Elder? Lung Ruoxue looked at the Yin clan's first elder's face, which flickered between light and dark, white for a moment, then black for a moment. She almost laughed out loud in her heart. This Yin clan's first elder was so scared that he didn't even bother to hide his thoughts. Miss Lung, you mean, when the Yin clan's first elder heard Lung Ruoxue's words, he was bewildered, afraid that he had guessed the other party's thoughts wrong. The compensation on this list is what I want. As for whether the Yin family or the Hong family will compensate me, I don't care. As long as Great Elder Yin is able to gather everything according to the list I've written, ITLL be fine. Great Elder Yin should understand now. Lung Ruoxue looked at the Yin clan's first elder, who was like a bird startled by the mere twang of a bough. He was so frightened that he didn't even believe her own judgment. She couldn't help but laugh in her heart, and could only explain it in a clear manner. I understand. After listening to Lung Ruoxue's words, the Yin clan's first elder finally heaved a sigh of relief. He no longer felt so stifled in his heart. Sob. He was really scared to death. With so many things, the Yin clan would be emptied out. Luckily, the Hong clan was still there to support them. If there's nothing else, Great Elder Yin, please leave. Lung Ruoxue chuckled and asked her to leave. She then instructed Ziyu to pass the frost pill to the Yin clan's first elder. Good. Miss Lung, I'll take my leave first. The Yin clan's first elder carefully took the frost pill, and after he finished speaking, he stood up and left the guest courtyard. After the Yin clan's first elder left, he felt depressed as he walked. Woo, this was clearly his home. Okay, why was he the one who was invited out? He had lived for so long, but he had never seen a guest who ignored the host like Lung Ruoxue. However, had the right to be proud. After the Yin clan's first elder left the guest courtyard where Lung Ruoxue and the others were staying, the first thing he did was to go to the main courtyard to meet the clan head. Grand Elder, is there anything important for you to return? The patriarch of the Yin clan looked at the first elder in confusion. Master, I just came back from Miss Lung's place. Yin tribe's first elder said. Oh, do they have any other requests? The Yin clan master understood. If not for this, the great elder would not have come to discuss with him in such a hurry. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM, they gave me the list of compensation, and this. The Yin clan's first elder was in a good mood as he kept them in suspense before taking out the small cold jade bottle. Oh, great elder, what's in that bottle? The Yin clan head looked at the small white bottle that was emitting a cold air that made one's heart palpitate. He was extremely puzzled. What medicine was the great elder selling in his gourd? Master, this was a frost pill. A frost pill that can cure your injuries. The Yin clan's first elder said with an excited expression. Frost pill? How did you get the frost pill? Could it be that the main family sent it over? The head of the Yin clan was extremely excited. He had been injured for quite some time, and he had thought that the hope of recovery was getting slimmer and slimmer. He didn't expect that such a big surprise would suddenly land in front of him. He was really excited to the point that he didn't know what to say. It's not the master, it's Miss Lung. She happened to have the frost pill and knew that the master's injuries were in urgent need of this frost pill, so she gave it to me. Master, please take it quickly. After the Yin clan's first elder gave a simple explanation, he urged the clan leader to take the frost pill. However, the Yin clan head did not consume it immediately. Instead, he looked at his clan's great elder with a serious expression and said, Grand Elder, what price did you pay to obtain this cold frost pill? Clan head, these frost pills were given to me by young Lady Lung, and she didn't pay any price for it. Yin clan's first elder was startled for a moment before saying, Don't hide it from me. I won't believe it. We're not related to him in any way, and we even have some enmity between us. How could he be so kind as to give me the frost pill? Did you agree to some conditions? The patriarch of the Yin clan asked in disbelief. Family head, if there are any conditions, I've agreed to make the Hong family bleed. Other than that, I have no other conditions. The Yin clan's first elder carefully recalled, and then said with absolute certainty, AI. After hearing the family head's words, he started to doubt himself. Hence, he recalled his conversation with Lung Ruoxue from the beginning to the end. You really didn't, T? Great elder, don't try to deceive me just so I can eat this frost pill. The patriarch of the Yin clan reminded him worriedly. Master, why would I lie to you? I really don't have any more. The Yin clan's first elder said with a depressed look. Woo, could it be that his credibility was so bad? Why didn't the master believe him? Then I'm at ease. Great elder, it's not that I don't believe you, but I can't believe those people. I'm afraid that you'll be willing to pay any price for my illness. The Yin clan leader sighed softly and said slowly. He had grown up with the great elder, so the two of them had an extremely good relationship. They could also trust each other, and this was one of the main reasons why the Yin clan could be so harmonious. Chapter 1366. The Furious First Elder of the Hong Family. 2. Patriarch, don't worry. This frost pill was given to me by them without any additional conditions. Quickly take the pill. This way, we'll be able to have more initiative in the negotiations with the Hong family. Yin tribe's first elder urged. All right, he said. The Yin clan master nodded and took the pill from the first elder's hand, swallowing it. After a while, the patriarch's face, which had been extremely pale, slowly returned to normal. The cold energy in his body was gradually expelled, and it didn't take long for his injuries to recover. Feeling the warmth on his body, Patriarch Yin stretched his arms and legs in disbelief. Then, he lifted the blanket and got off the bed. How do you feel, Patriarch? The Yin clan's first elder stared at his clan master, afraid that he would not be used to it. Good. Very good. After taking this cold frost pill, not only was the cold qi in my body completely expelled, I even faintly showed signs of breaking through. This is truly too incredible. The Yin clan head's face was filled with shock and disbelief. What was going on? One had to know that he had been stuck at the mid-level of the high-level deity stage for a long time. He had never been able to break through. However, after healing his injuries, he actually felt like he was about to break through. This was too strange. Congratulations, Master. After the Yin clan's first elder heard the clan head's words, he was also very happy. If the clan head could break through to the advanced divine realm, then the Hong clan's first elder wouldn't be a problem. Hee. Grand Elder, for the time being, it's best not to spread the news that I've recovered. The patriarch of the Yin clan said after some thought. Yes, if the news of Family Head's recovery reaches the ears of that old fox of the Hong family, he will definitely take precautions. We will not be able to catch him by surprise. The Yin clan's first elder agreed. Great Elder, it's all thanks to Miss Lung that my injuries can be healed. Please take me to the guest house to thank her. The Yin clan leader said impatiently. He had always wanted to meet the celestial-like figures that the elders and his second son had been talking about. However, he had been bedridden for a long time and had not been able to meet them. Therefore, the first thing he wanted to do after recovering was to meet them and thank them personally. After all, they had saved his life despite their past grudges. Master, I'm afraid it's not appropriate for you to see them now. Yin clan's first elder said after some thought. Why do you say so? The patriarch of the Yin clan was puzzled. Master, didn't you just say that you wanted to hide your recovery? If you go to the guest courtyard and are seen by the clansmen and someone accidentally tells them, then wouldn't our efforts be in vain? I think you'd better be patient for a few days. It won't be too late to thank him after the Hong family's matter has been satisfactorily resolved. Yin tribe's first elder suggested. What you said isn't without reason. However, he gave me the medicinal pill to cure my injuries. If I don't go and thank him, wouldn't he be overthinking it? The head of the Yin clan asked worriedly. After all, they weren't friends with the other party, and there was also enmity between them. So, if the other party knew that his injuries had recovered, but didn't come to thank him, wouldn't all their efforts be in vain if the enmity between them and the Yin clan worsened? He was a little worried. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM clan head, I don't think Miss Lung and the others are petty people. Otherwise, she wouldn't have given me the frost pill. Yin clan's first elder pondered for a moment before saying, these are two different things. After all, our Yin clan had some disputes with them in the past. Now that they have shown us kindness, I should go and thank them personally. The patriarch of the Yin clan said stubbornly, Family Head, don't be anxious. Why don't I go and sound out Miss Lung's opinion tomorrow and see what she means? It's too late today, so don't go. Yin tribe's first elder saw that he could not persuade the patriarch, so he could only use a roundabout method. That's good. The patriarch of the Yin clan looked at the sky outside the window. It was indeed getting late, so he had no choice but to dispel this thought. The next morning, Yin clan's first elder left for the guest courtyard. When he saw Lung Ruoxue, he first expressed his gratitude on behalf of the family head. He then said that the family head wanted to express his gratitude personally, but Lung Ruoxue declined his offer. Let your master rest well. You've just recovered, so don't run around. Lung Ruoxue, who was sitting on the main seat, said with a faint smile, I understand. He'll let the patriarch know. The Yin clan's first elder tactfully said. It seemed that the other party was thinking the same thing as him. They didn't want the family head to appear in front of their clansmen now. Great Elder Yin, that great elder from the Hong clan, should be arriving soon, right? It's been so many days, but he's still able to keep his cool. Lung Ruoxua laughed. Yes, I've received news that First Elder Hong has left Hong City and is heading towards our Yin City. He should be here in less than 2 days. The Yin clan's first elder nodded. Before that old man arrives, I think Great Elder Yin should have a lot of things to prepare. I won't keep you any longer. Lung Ruoxua started to chase him away again. Hearing Lung Ruoxua's words, the Yin clan's first elder was deeply depressed. Why was he always being chased out? Was his relationship with others that bad? Every time he was chased out, he felt like crying to death. However, since the other party had already spoken, it would not be good for him to stay here and not move. After bidding Lung Ruoxua farewell, he left the guest courtyard with an extremely depressed heart. 2 days later, the first elder of the Hong family had finally arrived in Yin City. Although the Yin and Hong clan had many conflicts now, in order to show his clan's magnanimity, the Yin clan's first elder still very politely invited the Hong clan's first elder and his party into the Yin clan's main residence. However, the accommodation they had arranged for the Hong family was not the best guest house. Hence, it caused some dissatisfaction in the Hong family. Great Elder Yin, you're just letting us stay here? A certain elder of the Hong family said with a dissatisfied expression. What happened here? The Yin clan's first elder had a puzzled look on his face. In his opinion, he was already giving the Hong clan a lot of face by allowing them to stay here. Although this was not the best guest courtyard in the Yin clan, it was not too bad. We used to stay at Liuxiang residence. The elder said, Elder Shan, as you said, that was in the past. In the past, people from your Hong family could let you stay in the Liuxiang residence. But do you think that with the relationship between our families, you can stay there now? Moreover, there's someone living there now. The Liuxiang residence that Elder Shan mentioned was actually the guest courtyard that Lung Ruoxua and the rest were staying in. It was also the best guest courtyard in the entire Hong clan. Chapter 1367. The Furious First Elder of the Hong Family. 3. However, even if there was no one living there, he couldn't possibly arrange for the Hong clan to stay there. After all, the Hong clan was here to negotiate with them, and many of the Hong clan's clansmen were in his hands. Therefore, it could be said that the Yin clan had the upper hand now. Since that was the case, how could he be considerate of the Hong clan and act according to their wishes? If that happened, where would the Yin clan's face be? Moreover, in the hearts of many members of the Yin family, the Hong family was equivalent to a prisoner. He had already given them a lot of face by being willing to invite them into the main residence. How could the Hong family have a right to be picky? You're clearly looking down on our Hong family. That Elder Shan roared out in a somewhat annoyed manner. Elder Shan, if you really want to think that way, I won't object. However, please correct your position and don't forget the current situation of your Hong family. The Yin clan's first elder reminded him with a straight face. This Elder Shan was really brainless. No wonder he was able to escape death. It was because the Hong clan head looked down on him. Therefore, he did not intend to bring him to the Yin clan because he was afraid that he would ruin things. Otherwise, this Elder Shan would probably be in their Yin clan's prison by now. How could he still be able to show off in front of him? Elder Shan was so angry that he couldn't speak. He gave the Hong family members a look, but none of them were willing to help. This made him even angrier. Great Elder Yin, we are very satisfied with this place. At this moment, the first elder of the Hong family, who had not spoken all this while, glared at Elder Shan before he spoke. It's good that First Elder Hong is satisfied. You must be tired from the long journey. Have a good rest today. We'll talk business tomorrow. We'll take my leave first. After the Yin clan's first elder finished speaking, he left with the Yin clan's people without looking back. After Yin tribe's first elder left with his men, Elder Shan said with a dissatisfied expression, Great Elder, why do you indulge them? They really don't have any respect for our Hong family. You shut up. Don't blame me for being impolite if you continue to speak nonsense. The Hong family's first elder said with a cold face, as if he had a headache. The clan head and the others were in the hands of the Yin clan, and now he couldn't even find anyone to discuss things with. He was really depressed to death with only a group of trash who only knew how to eat. Great Elder. Elder Shan's face was filled with disbelief. Although the Great Elder was usually cold and heartless, he still looked down on him, even at this point. Thinking of this, he felt extremely depressed. All of you better use your brains. Our Hong clan is no longer the same as before, and the Yin clan is no longer the same as before. The clan head and the elders are all in the hands of the Yin clan, so you should all think carefully about what you should say and what you shouldn't say. Don't always make me follow behind you and clean up your mess. The Hong family's first elder said with a face full of disappointment. Yes, Great Elder. The members of the Hong family in the room didn't dare to say anything after hearing the first elder's reprimand. They could only nod. Go back to your rooms and rest. We still have a tough battle to fight. Even if you can't be of much help, don't add to my troubles. Don't blame me for being merciless. The first elder of the Hong family warned. Yes, yes, master. Everyone from the Hong family replied, and then carefully returned to their rooms. The next day, after a sleepless night, the first elder of the Hong clan went to find the first elder of the Yin clan to prepare for negotiations. P.L.'s read on MYB0's Nov L. COM the Yin clan's first elder, who had not fully woken up, looked at the uninvited guest in his room and felt extremely depressed. It seemed that first elder Hong, who had always been calm, was a little impatient because of this matter. However, he could understand. After all, if their positions were to be reversed, he was afraid that he would be even more anxious than the first elder of the Hong family. Great Elder Yin, I'm sorry. I've come to disturb you so early because our Hong family's affairs are really very busy. The family head isn't around, and there are many things that I have to deal with. So, I really don't have much time. Let's quickly discuss the conditions so that I can return to the Hong family earlier. The first elder of the Hong family said apologetically. First Elder Hong, I know you're in a hurry to return to the Hong family, but you have to give me some time to put on my clothes. The Yin clan's first elder helplessly reminded him. This Hong clan's first elder had just happened to block him under the blanket. It was really too embarrassing. I'm sorry. We've known each other for so many years, but I didn't expect Great Elder Yin to be shy. The Hong family's first elder said with a smile. However, he couldn't help but think to himself, old thing, you can't be the only one who's laughing at our Hong family. I have to look at you too. Otherwise, it'll feel unbalanced. Shy my ass. Upon hearing the Hong clan's first elder's words, the Yin clan's first elder could not help but curse in his heart. However, he still had to put on a helpless expression and said, First Elder Hong, you still like to joke so much. This is called unexpected. The Hong clan's first elder said proudly. Then, he urged the Yin clan's first elder, Great Elder Yin, quickly put on your clothes. After you're done, we'll talk. AI. The Yin clan's first elder sighed softly and felt extremely helpless. He could see that this old thing was planning to watch him change his clothes. Whoa! In his entire life, other than the clan head and his already deceased wife, no one had ever stared at him with such big eyes and watched him change his clothes. The Yin clan's first elder was clear that this old thing from the Hong clan could not be driven away. Therefore, he could only brace himself and endure the discomfort in his heart as he picked up the clothes that were thrown on the chair by the bed and quickly put them on. After a while, the first elder of the Hong family saw that he was fully dressed, so he pulled his hand and prepared to find a place to negotiate. First Elder Hong, don't be anxious. Let's have some breakfast first before we talk. The Yin clan's first elder, who was being held tightly by the Hong clan's first elder, said in a speechless manner, I'm not hungry. Let's talk while you eat. The Hong clan's first elder thought for a moment, and then pulled the Yin clan's first elder towards the dining room. He had been to the Yin residence many times, so he was very familiar with the layout of the Yin residence. Finding the dining room was not a difficult task. At this moment, there was no one else in the dining room other than the elders from the Yin family. However, when they saw the two of them walking in hand, the elders' faces revealed a puzzled expression. Since when did their elder and the first elder of the Hong family have such a good relationship? The two of them were actually holding hands. This scene was really too strange, and they couldn't help but let their thoughts run wild. Could it be that there was an affair between them that they shouldn't have? Chapter 1368. The Furious First Elder of the Hong Family. 4. Seeing the expressions of the elders, the Yin clan's first elder, who had guessed what they were thinking, had an extremely ugly expression on his face. However, the Hong clan's first elder did not care at all. After pulling the Yin clan's first elder to sit down, he very attentively filled his bowl with porridge and all kinds of side dishes. Seeing this scene, the Yin clan's elders' jaws almost dropped. Their eyes were wide and round, and their faces were all filled with an expression of disbelief. What are you looking at? Hurry up and eat your food. The Yin clan's first elder roared in a depressed manner. He hated the Hong clan's first elder's actions to death. Damn it, this old thing must be doing this on purpose to make things difficult for him. I'm done. Seeing that their first elder was angry, the elders of the Yin family quickly said. Then they put down their bowls and chopsticks and left the dining room as if they were running for their lives. However, they didn't go far, but eavesdropped at the door of the dining room. First Elder Hong, what the hell are you doing? Seeing that there were only the two of them left in the dining hall, the Yin clan's first elder couldn't help but ask through gritted teeth. How can you say that about me? Can't you see that I'm trying to please you? The first elder of the Hong clan said in an extremely aggrieved manner. His current appearance was completely different from when he faced the people of the Hong clan yesterday. If the people of the Hong clan were to see this, they would also be shocked. Don't try to please me. I'm afraid you'll be like this. Yin tribe's first elder spoke the truth, his little heart trembling from the stimulation. Ling, we've known each other for quite a few years. Although we've never had a deep friendship, we've never really become enemies. The first elder of the Hong family said softly, playing the emotional card. Don't call me that. I'm getting goosebumps. When the Yin clan's first elder heard the Hong clan's first elder call out his name, his heart turned cold. Oh my God, it was really too disgusting. Although his name was Yin Ling, he really couldn't accept being called the first elder of the Hong family. Then how do you want me to call you? Lingling? The Hong clan's first elder whispered into the Yin clan's first elder's ear. You could just call me Great Elder Yin. The Yin clan's first elder said, feeling a little nauseated in his heart. Just now in his room, this old thing was still quite normal. Why did it seem like he was a completely different person the moment he left his room? He really couldn't get used to it. That's too polite. I think Ling or Lingling sounds more intimate. After all, we've known each other for so many years. The first elder of the Hong clan laughed. We're not friends, so there's no need to be so friendly, really. The Yin clan's first elder hurriedly said in fear, Fuck. What was this old thing up to? Why did he feel that his brain couldn't keep up with the flow? I'm so sad to hear you say that. The first elder of the Hong family said, pretending to be sad. His eyes were sparkling as if he was about to cry. First Elder Hong, I don't care what your purpose is. They'll tell you directly now that our Yin clan and the Hong clan can no longer be the same as before. In fact, the relationship between our two clans has already been broken since you injured our clan head. You should know this. Yin tribe's first elder warned. I know, but I have my own difficulties. I did it to save our family head. Besides, I didn't hit him hard at that time. Besides, I was also injured by your family head, so we're even now. Let's not hold it against each other. The first elder of the Hong family said with a wronged expression. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM, even my ass. Your injuries can be healed with just a few healing pills, but our family head can tea. Do you think the cold poison in your Hong family is so easy to remove? If you really want this matter to be even and want our two families to restore our past relationship, you should take the initiative to come and treat our family head's injuries. But did you come? Not only that, but your Hong family's head even brought people to try and swallow up our Yin family. If it wasn't for our good luck, we would have long since disappeared from the divine mainland. Oomph. Is this what you mean by even? The Yin clan's first elder angrily roared. As long as he thought of this, he would not be able to suppress the anger in his heart. That's because the children are insensible. You adults should be magnanimous and not bicker with children. Moreover, my injuries have only just recovered, and even if I wanted to save your family head, I'm afraid I'm powerless. The first elder of the Hong family said shamelessly. The child he was referring to was naturally the head of the Hong family. After all, in terms of seniority, the head of the Hong family was one generation lower than them. You're talking nonsense. If it was someone from the Yin clan who tried to annex your Hong clan and was caught by your Hong clan, would you say this? I'm afraid their end will be even worse. The Yin clan's first elder understood. These people from the Hong clan were really too full of themselves. Moreover, their standards for people and things were also different. If someone provoked the Hong clan, then that person deserved to die 1,000 deaths. But if the Hong clan provoked someone else, then they would become a child who didn't know any better. How could there be such a cheap thing in the world? Moreover, who would believe that the first elder of the Hong family had just recovered from his injuries? He clearly didn't plan to save them and was waiting for the Yin clan to take the initiative to come and threaten them. Did he really think that they were all fools and couldn't see through the Hong clan's intentions? With the Yin clan's first elder's rebuttal, the touching words that the Hong clan's first elder had long prepared could no longer be said. Sigh. Did he misjudge? He clearly remembered that this Yin clan's first elder was quite easy to talk to. He had originally thought that as long as he played the emotional card, the other party would give him some face and let the Hong family off. Then, he would take the opportunity to say that he wanted to cure the Yin family's master's injury. In this way, wouldn't everyone be happy? Unfortunately, the Yin clan's first elder didn't act according to his script and didn't plan on giving him any face at all, which couldn't help but put him on the spot. However, he would not be easily discouraged. After clearing his throat, he spoke again. Great Elder Yin, I know that our Hong family has let you down in many ways. I apologize to you on behalf of the Hong family. In addition, one of the main purposes of my visit this time is to cure your family head and repair the relationship between our two families. I believe that you must be thinking the same in your heart. Otherwise, you wouldn't just lock up the members of our Hong family, right? First Elder Hong, I have long given up on the relationship between our two families. The reason why we have locked up the people from your Hong family instead of directly killing them is only so that the Hong family can redeem them. It's our fault for being short on money to treat our master. The Yin clan's first elder directly stated his purpose without even blushing or panting. He was very clear that if he didn't make things clear, this old fox from the Hong clan would definitely continue to play Tai Chi with him. I can't play dumb. Chapter 1369. The Furious First Elder of the Hong Family. 5. AI. After listening to the Yin clan's first elder's words, the Hong clan's first elder was truly depressed. The other party had already made it so clear, so it would be a little redundant for him to play dumb. Thus, he could only correct his thoughts and look at the Yin clan's first elder with a sincere expression, saying, Great Elder Yin, may I know what conditions your Yin clan has? As long as it's within our Hong family's means, we'll try our best to satisfy you. Try to satisfy her? When the Yin clan's first elder heard the Hong clan's first elder's words, he sneered in his heart. Did he mean that he would not be able to satisfy all of them? It seemed like the first elder of the Hong family was afraid that they would demand an exorbitant price, so he didn't dare to be too confident. An old fox was indeed an old fox. However, he had guessed it right. They would definitely make the Hong family bleed this time. First Elder Hong, this time, your Hong family has more than 50 people in our hands, including the patriarch, elders, and ordinary clansmen. How much do you think they're worth? If I'm not wrong, they're all the elites of your Hong family. That's right, there's also your family head's 2 daughters. Although they caused your Hong family to lose all face, they're still young ladies of your Hong family. You wouldn't ignore them, right? The Yin clan's first elder said with a smile. Lien and Sheener? What's wrong with them? The more the first elder of the Hong clan listened to the first elder of the Yin clan, the more he felt that something was amiss. Especially when the other party had mentioned Hong Lien and Hong Xin, this made him even more suspicious. What did the first elder of the Yin clan mean by being disgraced? What's wrong? Didn't First Elder Hong know? I thought that this matter had already reached First Elder Hong's ears. The Yin clan's first elder said in surprise. What is it? You might as well just say it. The first elder of the Hong family was a little impatient. He had almost not left the house recently, so he really did not know what the two girls had done, and no one had mentioned it to him. Hong Lien fell in love with a beggar and even forced himself on him. As for Hong Xin, in order to frame others, you actually betrayed your Hong family and revealed your family's secret to us. The Yin clan's first elder said proudly. Seeing the Hong clan's first elder's face change like a palette, he felt very happy. This is impossible. How could they have done such a thing? Don't use this kind of thing to slander them. After a long while, the first elder of the Hong clan spoke with a face full of disbelief. Previously, the Yin clan's first elder's words had caused him to fall into a daze and anger. However, after calming down a little, he finally reacted. Moreover, he did not believe the Yin clan's first elder's words at all. After all, the relationship between their two clans was no longer like before. It was normal for the other party to slander the young lady of their Hong clan. He knew very well the other party's purpose for doing so. It was just to see their Hong clan become a joke. First Elder Hong, of course you won't believe my words. However, you can't possibly not believe the words of the Hong family, right? They'll bring you to the prison and let you ask your Hong family members personally to see if what I said is true. How about it? Do you dare to go? The Yin clan first elder said provocatively. Why would I dare to go? The Hong clan's first elder said angrily. Even if the Yin clan's first elder didn't take the initiative to invite him to the prison, he would still want to go and take a look. Since that's the case, First Elder Hong, please come with me to the prison. With that, the Yin clan's first elder stood up and walked out of the dining room. The Hong clan's first elder naturally followed closely behind. Seeing them walk out one after the other, the elders of the Yin clan who were hiding in the corner couldn't help but whisper, "Hey, did you guys see that? That didn't hold hands. Most likely because the negotiations between our two families fell apart, Sai. It's such a pity. Actually, they look quite compatible." The fire of gossip was burning in their hearts, and all kinds of thoughts began to float in their minds. Compared to the depression of the Yin clan some time ago, they were absolutely relaxed now. However, the first elder of the Hong clan, who had followed the Yin clan's first elder all the way to the prison cell, was not happy at all. Not only had he not used any of the strategies he had thought of, he had even found out about the family's dirty laundry from the Yin clan's first elder. Although he didn't completely believe it, the Yin clan's first elder wouldn't make irresponsible remarks and casually joke about such a matter, right? Therefore, although he said that he didn't believe it, he couldn't convince himself in his heart. P.L.'s read on MYB Zero's novel. COM at the entrance of the prison, the Yin clan's first elder smiled and said to the Hong clan's first elder, "First Elder Hong, you can go in by yourself. I won't disturb you from reminiscing with the Hong family." "All right." The first elder of the Hong family nodded and strode into the cell. Seeing the Hong family's first elder enter the cell alone, the guard guarding the cell was a little worried and said to his first elder, "First Elder, should we go in and take a look? What if the first elder of the Hong family saves the clansmen of the Hong family? As a member of the Yin family, you should have confidence in the facilities of your own cell. If he can rescue the people, then there is no need to set up this cell." The Yin clan's first elder said in an unusually serious manner, "Great Elder is right." The guard tactfully said, "All you need to do is guard the cell door. If First Elder Hong comes out from inside, just pretend you didn't see him." The Yin clan's great elder thought for a moment and said, He was well aware that when that old fox from the Hong clan found out that he was telling the truth in the prison, his expression would definitely not look good. Therefore, he wanted to avoid it for now, so that the old thing would not blame the Yin clan for the debt. It should be known that the old fellow was very vengeful. However, before he could leave, he saw the first elder of the Hong family walking out of the cell in a rage with a dark face. He ignored him and strode away. He came out so quickly. As he watched the back view of the Hong clan's first elder, the Yin clan's first elder could not help but mutter to himself. It seemed like this old thing was quite angry. Seeing this situation, he felt great. After he finished speaking, he turned around and returned to his room. He reckoned that the first elder of the Hong family would not bother him again today. After the Hong clan's head elder angrily returned to the guest courtyard where he and the others were staying, he called all of the Hong clan's clansmen into his room. After a round of reprimanding, he glared at them and roared, "Why didn't anyone tell me about such a big thing?" The first elder of the Hong family was furious. However, he was even angrier that he had found out about this from an outsider first. This made him rather passive. The Hong family's members, who had been scolded for no reason, were all confused when they heard the first elder's words. They asked softly, "Great elder, what happened? What did we not tell you?" The members of the Hong family were all somewhat baffled. The great elder had scolded them the moment he came back, saying that they had something to hide from him. However, he did not tell them what it was. This made them feel a little wronged. Could it be that the great elder had been bullied by the great elder of the Yin family, so he was treating them as a punching bag? They could not help but let their thoughts run wild. Chapter 1370, Scandal 1. Did I not say what it was? The first elder of the Hong family said angrily, "Great elder, you didn't tell me." The members of the Hong family all shook their heads and whispered in unison. "I just found out about some of the Hong family scandals from the Yin family's first elder, so I personally went to the prison to verify it." Why didn't you guys tell me? As long as the first elder of the Hong family thought about how he had been kept in the dark, the anger in his heart would surge. What scandal? Everyone from the Hong family looked at each other and looked at their first elder in confusion. "Lianer and Xer, didn't you hear?" The great elder of the Hong family had a look of disbelief on his face because the great elder of the Yin family had secretly told him that this matter had already spread throughout Hong City. Since that was the case, how could the Hong family not know about it? This was really too strange. Great elder, did something happen to them? Elder Shan's face was full of question marks. Yes. The first elder of the Hong family nodded and told them what had happened. After hearing it, the Hong family fell silent. After a moment, Elder Shan, who had just reacted, said angrily, "Family head, those two wretched girls actually did such a thing and caused our Hong family to lose face. The two of them must be severely punished. I suggest that they be expelled from the Hong family." Elder Shan's furious words immediately received a response from the people present. Although they were all a little surprised that the two daughters of the family head would actually do such a thing, since it had already been confirmed, the two of them naturally could not remain in the family. Otherwise, what face would the Hong family have left? We definitely have to expel them, but they're in the hands of the Yin clan now. I'm thinking, should we let them be in the hands of the Yin clan, or should we get them out with the other clansmen and then make a decision? The first elder of the Hong family frowned and said in a somewhat conflicted manner, "Great elder, why should we care about them after what they did? Just let them live and die on their own." Someone suggested, "Yup, the great elder. Of the two of them, one has committed a shameful act and the other has betrayed the family. If they continue to stay in the family, many of the family members will not accept it." Someone immediately agreed. "Great elder, we'll just leave them at the Yin residence. As for how the Yin family wants to deal with them, we don't care. We'll just pretend that we never knew these two." Elder Shan said. It wasn't that first Elder Hong didn't have the thought of leaving the Yin clan behind. However, he thought about it again. If he left Hong Lian and Hong Xian behind in the Yin clan and didn't care about them, then they would probably be a level lower in front of the Yin clan in the future. Therefore, he was in a difficult position. Grand Elder, well, listen to your decision. Elder Shan couldn't help but ask anxiously when he saw that first elder didn't respond for a long time. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM, let me think about it. All of you can leave. The first elder of the Hong family waved his hand, stood up, and went into the inner room. When the people of the Hong family who were left in the hall saw this, they could only turn around and leave. The next day, for some reason, gossip about the first elders of the Yin and Hong family had started to spread in the Yin family's main residence. After the Yin clan's great elder left his room early in the morning, he saw the Yin clan's clansmen whispering to each other along the way. When they saw him, they all scattered like birds and beasts. Seeing this, the Yin clan's great elder was extremely puzzled and couldn't help but secretly think to himself, when did he become so terrifying? When the clansmen saw him, they were actually like mice seeing a cat. This is really too strange. Even though he was surprised, he did not think too much about it. Instead, he went straight to Liuxiang residence where Lung Ruoxue and the others were staying. When he entered Liuxiang residence, the Yin clan's great elder was sitting in the living room, waiting for Lung Ruoxue's arrival. However, he noticed that Ziyu and the rest were also looking at him in surprise. This made him even more suspicious. What exactly had happened? First elder, why are you here so early in the morning? Lung Ruoxue walked into the living room and looked at the first elder of the Yin clan, who was sitting uncomfortably on the chair. She chuckled and teased him. I'm preparing to go to First Elder Hong to discuss the compensation, so I came here to see if Miss Lung has any other requests. Yin Tribe's first elder said honestly. Oh, didn't you guys talk about it yesterday? Lung Ruoxue asked out of curiosity. No, I didn't. That old man was in a bad mood yesterday. He didn't show up for the whole day after he came to see me this morning. Yin Tribe's first elder said, not a good mood? Could it be that you guys... Lung Ruoxue smiled faintly, but she stopped mid-sentence. What's wrong with us? Yin clan's first elder looked at Lung Ruoxue's expression, and his face was filled with question marks. Did you guys quarrel? Lung Ruoxue asked nosily. No, I didn't. It's not my fault that he's in a bad mood. The Yin clan's first elder instinctively explained. He didn't know why, but he had a bad feeling in his heart, as if something was going to happen. Whoa, why did he have such a feeling? It was too strange. How can it not be related to you? Aren't you two very close? He's in a bad mood, and you didn't comfort him. Although there's a conflict between your two families, isn't it a pity to lose the person you like for the sake of the family? Lung Ruoxue reminded. Her words were like a sudden clap of thunder, blasting the Yin clan's first elder out of his wits and almost causing his soul to fly out of his body. Miss Lung, what do you mean by this? The Yin clan's first elder asked in disbelief. He didn't hear wrong, did he? The meaning behind Lung Ruoxue's words shouldn't be what he was thinking, right? He could not help but console himself. Great Elder Yin, you can't control your emotions. I won't laugh at you. On the contrary, I admire your courage. After all, it's not easy to find someone you like. Lung Ruoxue said with a face full of envy. What do you mean by someone you like? Yin clan's first elder was somewhat dumbfounded. Could he be dreaming? Why did he hear that she had someone she liked? Who is it? Why didn't he know about it? There's no need to be shy, Great Elder Yin. Everyone in the Yin clan knows about you and the Great Elder of the Hong clan. Even we have heard about it. Lung Ruoxue consoled. Even though she didn't believe in any rumors, she couldn't help but doubt the authenticity of the matter when she saw the Yin clan's first elder shock and his unwillingness to let others know. Chapter 1371. Scandal 2. We're fine. What do you guys know? The Yin clan's first elder carefully asked, the doubt in his heart deepening. Great Elder Yin, your Hong family's great elder scandal is already all over the place. Don't play dumb anymore. However, don't blame me for not warning you. No matter how good your relationship is, you can't be soft on the Hong family. Otherwise, we won't let you off. Yuqing couldn't bear to see the Yin clan's first elder stammering and directly shouted, H scandal? What kind of scandal could we have? I'm not even close to the first elder of the Hong family. Yin tribe's first elder argued, the cold sweat in his heart dripping down. Fuck, what the hell is this? Why would he have a scandal with that old thing? He really couldn't accept this. If we're not familiar with each other, we'll have a scandal. If we're familiar with each other, we'll definitely cause some trouble. Yuqing said with a look of disdain. She looked down on people like Great Elder Yin the most. He pretended that nothing had happened. He was really hypocritical to the extreme. Are we really fine? Miss Lung, please don't misunderstand me. The Yin clan's first elder said, somewhat anxiously, Great Elder Yin, what does it matter if we believe it or not? Now that this rumor is known to everyone, I'm afraid that the matter between the two of you can't be hidden anymore. Lung Ruoxue reminded kindly, Miss Lung, I really have nothing to do with that old thing. He'll leave first to deal with this matter. Goodbye. After listening to Lung Ruoxue's words, the Yin clan's first elder left Liuxiang residence on his own accord without Lung Ruoxue chasing him away. After the Yin clan's head elder left, Yuqing couldn't help but ask curiously, Miss, do you believe that rumor? It doesn't matter if we believe it or not. What's important is that this matter has been spread, and it may be made an issue by the Hong family. In reality, she suspected that the Hong family was behind all this. The Hong family's motive was to mess with the Yin family's thoughts. However, would the first elder of the Hong family joke around with his reputation? It seemed that if a person was forced into a corner, they could do anything. Then what should we do? Do we need to take precautions? Yuqing asked again. No need. We just have to do whatever we want. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. If this matter was really related to the Hong family, then their thinking was a little too simple. The Yin clan's first elder left Liuxiang residence and immediately gathered the elders he had met in the dining hall yesterday. In the meeting hall, sitting in his seat, the Yin clan's first elder kept a straight face and silently looked at the few elders sitting opposite him. The Yin clan's elders felt their hair stand on end from the great elder's cold gaze, and they couldn't help but think to themselves, what was the great elder planning to do? Did he call them over just to glare at them? Moreover, the great elder's gaze was so terrifying. It shouldn't be so frightening, okay? After staring at them for a while, the Yin clan's first elder coldly said, Do you know why I called you here? PL's read on MYB0's novel. COM, Great Elder. If you have something to say, just say it. We really don't know why you've called us here. An elder said in a low voice, Let me ask you, what did you do after you met me and the first elder of the Hong family in the dining hall yesterday? Yin clan's first elder asked, suppressing his anger. We didn't do anything. Didn't we leave the dining room after that and leave it to you two? An elder said in a soft voice. They had heard the rumors about their own great elder and that person from the Hong family today. When they heard about it, their first reaction was that things were bad. This time, the great elder was probably going to put the blame on them. As expected, the great elder quickly found them. Whoa, this really had nothing to do with them. You guys still dare to talk. Yin tribe's first elder said angrily. As long as he thought of this, he would be filled with anger. First elder, this matter really has nothing to do with us. We don't know why such a rumor would appear either. Could it be that the Hong family intentionally spread it to disturb First Elder's mood and make him unable to concentrate on the negotiations? Another elder couldn't help but guess. Great Elder, it's not impossible. Those despicable things from the Hong family are capable of doing anything. The elders said in unison. Although they had seen what had happened yesterday and were deeply suspicious of the relationship between their great elder and the great elder of the Hong family, they only thought about it in their hearts or gossiped in private. They absolutely did not dare to spread the matter because they were well aware of the seriousness of the matter. Naturally, they would not spread the matter about their great elder. The Hong family? Yin tribe's first elder narrowed his eyes and coldly said, Yes, this matter is definitely the doing of the Hong clan. They're capable of anything. However, if they think that our Yin clan will let them off just because there's a scandal between their great elder and our Yin clan's great elder, then they're just daydreaming. The great elder. This time, we must make the Hong family bleed. An elder suggested angrily. Right. Well, make the Hong family bleed. The elders agreed. Where did this matter come from? Immediately go and find out. He'll go find the grand elder of the Hong family. After Yin tribe's first elder finished speaking, he stood up and left the meeting room. Taking large strides, he arrived at the guest courtyard where the Hong clan's group was staying, and the Yin clan's first elder directly walked in. Great Elder Yin, why have you come? What's the matter? Elder Shan, who was in the courtyard, saw the Yin clan's first elder's ugly expression and quickly came forward to greet him. What's wrong? Can't I come? Don't forget that your Hong family is here to negotiate with us. Today is the third day, so it's time for our two families to have a good talk. The Yin clan's first elder said unhappily. The meaning of his words was clearly saying that your Hong clan was not here to be guests at my Yin clan, and that business was more important. Our grand elder is still resting. Elder Shan said with an obsequious smile. It's already 3 poles high. Why is he still resting? Quickly wake him up. I want to negotiate with your Hong family now. The Yin clan's first elder urged. That damned old thing. He had trapped him in his bed yesterday. Today, he would give him a taste of his own medicine. At the thought of this, he walked past Elder Shan and headed straight for the first elder's room. Chapter 1372, Scandal 3. Watching the back of the Yin clan's first elder, a Hong clan member whispered in Elder Shan's ear, Elder Shan, are we just going to let him in like this? Aren't we going to stop them? What's there to stop? Isn't this just the way to confirm the affair between the two of them? I want them to see for themselves how close the relationship between their grand elder and our Hong clan's grand elder is. Elder Shan said with a wicked smile, If first elder finds out, will he be angry? The member of the Hong family asked fearfully, What are you afraid of? As long as you and I don't say anything, no one will know. Elder Shan reminded, Okay, then I'll get someone to go now. After the Hong family member finished speaking, he left the courtyard. At this moment, the Yin clan's first elder directly pushed open the door to the Hong clan's first elder's room and walked in. When he saw that the first elder of the Hong family was still lying on the bed, he went up and pushed the first elder, trying to wake him up. However, the first elder did not wake up. Why is this old thing sleeping so soundly? Yin clan's first elder couldn't help but mutter to himself. Then he sat down on the chair beside the bed. After a while, the Hong clan's first elder opened his eyes in a daze. When he saw the Yin clan's first elder sitting not far away, he was shocked. Arg, what are you doing here? The first elder of the Hong family said in surprise. However, his was a little loud, so almost everyone in the courtyard heard it. Among them were not only people from the Hong family, but also some people from the Yin family who had been tricked by Elder Shan into coming here in the name of losing something. Damn it, what do you think I'm doing here? Tell me, what good things have you done? The Yin clan's first elder was so embarrassed that he grabbed the Hong clan's first elder's collar tightly and questioned him angrily. What did I do? The Hong family's first elder had a face full of question marks. Last night, he didn't sleep for almost the entire night and was thinking about the Hong family's matters. When it was almost dawn, he finally fell asleep with great difficulty. When he woke up, he saw this unlikable fellow guarding by his bed. His mood became even more depressed. AI, he did not want to see the Yin clan's first elder now. Don't play dumb. Tell me, did you get someone to spread this? The Yin clan's first elder asked in a bad mood. What is it? Can't you be more clear? The first elder of the Hong family said impatiently. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM, it's a scandal between the two of us. The entire Yin family is spreading rumors of our ambiguous relationship. The Yin clan's first elder said very implicitly. He really could not say the word adultery. Just thinking about it made him feel nauseated. Hee, how could there be any gossip between us? Are you still sleeping? The first elder of the Hong family sneered. Of course I've woken up. Now, in the eyes of outsiders, the two of us are that. You understand. The Yin clan's first elder said in a depressed manner. I don't understand. However, no matter what kind of scandal we have, it's impossible. I'm not interested in an old man like you. The first elder of the Hong family said straightforwardly. I'm not interested in you either, but there are rumors going around that we have a relationship. Tell me honestly, did you ask someone to spread it? The Yin clan's first elder said suspiciously. Do you think I'm stupid? What good would it do for me to order people to spread such a thing? Don't tell me I don't want my reputation anymore. The first elder of the Hong family said speechlessly. He was really impressed by this guy's imagination. It really wasn't you? Yin tribe's first elder still did not believe it. If I'm the one who spread this news, he'll die a horrible death. That's enough. The first elder of the Hong family said helplessly. After he finished speaking, a set of contract rules descended from the sky and enveloped the two of them. It was obvious that he had taken his words as an oath. Seeing this situation, he felt even more depressed. Whoa, he wasn't making an oath, okay? The Hong clan's first elder was depressed, but the Yin clan's first elder was happy. Since the other party had already made an oath, he would believe the first elder of the Hong family for the time being. However, it's best that I don't catch the person who spread the rumors. Otherwise, I won't let him off, he thought. Are you satisfied now? The first elder of the Hong family sighed and said helplessly, Yes. Yin tribe's first elder nodded, then said, Although you did not order someone to do this, this matter is definitely related to your Hong clan. Therefore, you must hand over the person who spread the rumors. Otherwise, I will not let this matter rest. How can you be so sure that it's our Hong family? Can it be your Yin family that spread the news? When the first elder of the Hong family heard this, he was instantly unhappy. Why were all the bad things done by the Hong family? In his opinion, the Yin clan was also a suspect. Why would our Yin family do such a thing? They're not that bored. The Yin clan's first elder said with absolute certainty. You mean our Hong family is very boring? No one in our Hong family would do such a thing. The first elder of the Hong family retorted, unwilling to be outdone. Oof, it's your Hong family's doing. The Yin clan's first elder roared. It's the Yin family who spread the news. The first elder of the Hong family shouted back. Just like that, in order to protect their family's reputation, the two old men actually began to bicker like children. Furthermore, the more they talked, the more intense it became. In the end, the two of them even got into a fight. When the members of the Hong clan and Yin clan in the courtyard heard the loud noise coming from the room of the Hong clan's head elder, they were all extremely curious. When they thought of the rumor they had heard today, the fire of gossip in everyone's heart burned. However, as the movements in the room grew louder and louder, they were all a little worried. Elder Sean, what are the two grand elders doing? With such a huge commotion, could there be any deaths? A member of the Hong family said worriedly when he heard the voice in the room. Second elder, what do you think? Elder Sean did not reply to the clansman's words. Instead, he turned his gaze to the second elder of the Yin clan, who was helping them find the lost item. If you're worried, you can go in and take a look. The second elder of the Yin family hesitated. In fact, he was very afraid of seeing things that he shouldn't see inside. However, when he thought of what the great elder had said to them before, he was afraid that the two people inside would start a fight if they didn't agree. If something happened to the Hong family's first elder, he couldn't care less. However, if their own first elder suffered a loss, how depressed would they be? Chapter 1373, Scandal 4. In that case, let's go in and take a look. Elder Sean said. He had spent so much effort. If he did not go in to take a look, wouldn't it be a waste of effort? Thinking of this, he pulled the second elder of the Yin clan and led the clansmen of the two clans towards his great elder's room. The door to the first elder's room was left ajar, but no one dared to push the door open immediately. Instead, they stood at the door and listened for a while. However, as the loud banging sounds in the room grew louder, they braced themselves and pushed the door open to enter. However, after they entered, they were all stunned. At this moment, the two first elders were entangled on the bed with their clothes in a mess. Some parts of their clothes were torn. The first elder of the Yin clan was on top of the first elder of the Hong clan, his hands firmly holding the first elder's hands. Their current appearance was as ambiguous as it could be. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell what they were planning to do with a single glance. Seeing this scene, everyone was speechless. Even some of the more timid ones were at a loss for what to do. Wu, why did they have to see this? Would the two great elders kill them to silence them? Elder Shan, who had deliberately wanted the Yin clan to see the ambiguous relationship between the two elders, was also dumbfounded when he saw this unexpected scene. He didn't expect that the actions of the two great elders in the room would be so shocking. He didn't expect that his great elder would be the bottom. This was really too unacceptable. No matter what, he had to suppress the Yin clan's first elder. The people who entered the room had different thoughts at this time, but most of them were overthinking. The elders of the two families who were fighting on the bed obviously noticed that the situation was not right and quickly kept a certain distance from the other party. However, their actions made it seem like they were trying to hide something, which made people more suspicious. Damn it, who let you in? When the first elder of the Hong family saw so many people in his room, he couldn't help but roar in anger. Arg, the great elder. I'm sorry. We came in because we heard the noise. You've made too much noise, and we were afraid that something might have happened to you. Elder Shan quickly explained when he saw the unfriendly expression on his first elder's face. His heart was trembling with fear. So it's our fault? The first elder of the Hong family said in an unpleasant tone. It wasn't he. It wasn't he. It's our fault. You guys continue. With that, Elder Shan gave the people around him a look, and they immediately left the first elder's room. After they went out, the Hong family members, led by Elder Shan, couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat on their foreheads. Their little hearts were also trembling nonstop. Sob, it was really too dangerous. Second Elder Yin, thank you for helping us find the things. I think we should stop here for today. We'll look for it ourselves tomorrow, so we won't trouble you. Elder Shan looked at the second elder of the Yin clan and said, Okay, then we'll take our leave first. After the second elder finished speaking, he immediately took the head and left without looking back. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM. After the Yin family left, Elder Shan said to the Hong family, You guys can also leave. Yes, the Hong family members said. Then they scattered. Elder Shan, it seems that our plan is quite successful. Seeing that there were only the two of them left, the Hong clan member softly asked, Shut up. You can't let anyone know about this. You have to keep it to yourself, or else the Grand Elder won't let us off. Elder Shan warned with wide eyes. Elder Shan, don't worry. I won't say anything. The clansmen promised and left in a hurry. After they had left, the two great elders Hong and Yin tidied up their clothes and walked out of the room. However, their expressions were not very good. Let's talk in the living room. Yin tribe's first elder suppressed his anger and cursed in his heart. Why did he start fighting with the old thing? Moreover, they were seen by so many people. Now, even if they had a mouth, they would not be able to explain themselves. Yes. The first elder of the Hong clan nodded and followed the first elder of the Yin clan to the living room. After the two of them sat down, neither of them spoke first. After a long time, the first elder of the Hong family, who had been silent all this while, finally couldn't help but speak up. What will it take for the Yin clan to release the Hong clan? State your conditions. When did first elder Hong become so open? It's not easy to hear such words from you. The Yin clan's first elder said with a smile. Old man, do you want to talk or not? The first elder of the Hong family said in an extremely depressed manner. Of course we have to. Furthermore, we've already prepared a list of compensation. As long as your Hong family is prepared according to the list, I can return all the Hong family members to you. The Yin clan's first elder said with a faint smile. He also guaranteed that when the Hong clan's first elder saw the list, he would definitely be so angry that he would vomit blood. Only this. The Hong family's first elder asked in disbelief. This didn't seem to be what he had imagined. Why didn't the Yin clan treat their clan head's injuries as one of their conditions? This was really too unusual. Originally, he thought that he could use this condition to threaten the Yin clan to release the Hong clan members. But who knew that they didn't even mention this at all? When he thought of this, he felt a little uneasy. Yes, Yin tribe's first elder nodded, but he sneered in his heart, Are you surprised by our conditions? It was simply a dream to use the family head as a hostage. Where's the list? The first elder of the Hong family suppressed the shock and dissatisfaction in his heart as he extended his hand to ask for more. Here you go. The Yin clan's first elder took out 2 thin pieces of paper from his storage ring and handed them over. The first elder of the Hong family took it and glanced at it. His eyes widened in disbelief. You guys are really demanding an exorbitant price. Do you think he'll give it to you? It's up to you whether to give it to me or not. However, if you don't pay the compensation in full, I won't hand the Hong family over to you either. So many Hong family members are going to die here. Can you bear to do that? The Yin clan's first elder warned with extreme caution. Chapter 1374, Scandal 5, What's there for me to be reluctant about? The Hong family doesn't lack people. The first elder of the Hong family pretended to be nonchalant. If that's the case, then I have nothing more to say. After saying that, the Yin clan's first elder stood up and walked out of the hall. However, he had only taken 2 steps when he was stopped by the Hong clan's first elder. Wait, is there no room for discussion? The first elder of the Hong family asked helplessly. To be honest, the compensation that the Yin family wanted was beyond his expectations. He really couldn't bear to part with it. However, the Hong family couldn't just ignore it. After all, most of the people who came with the family head were the elites of the Hong family. It wasn't easy to train these people. Moreover, if he really didn't care about the Hong family members, the main family would blame him if they found out. First Elder Hong, our Yin clan isn't the only one who wants this compensation. Your Hong clan has also done some other things and offended others. Furthermore, these people have done a favor for our Yin clan. They want us to help them ask for compensation. We can't just ignore it. The Yin clan's first elder said with a difficult expression. In other words, there was no room for discussion on this matter. What else did they do? The first elder of the Hong family quickly asked after hearing this. You'd better go and ask your Hong family. I really can't explain this matter clearly. How about I accompany you to the prison again? The Yin clan's first elder suggested. Although he said this in his heart, he absolutely did not want this old man to go to the prison again. Yesterday, he went to the prison and wasted a day without any negotiations. Therefore, he must make this matter come true today. No need. You just need to tell me who the other person is. The first elder of the Hong family sighed and said helplessly, he did not want to go to the prison again. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. Elder Hong, come find me after you've thought it through and are willing to compensate. However, don't make me wait too long. After Yin clan's first elder finished speaking, he turned and left the drawing room. After the Yin clan's first elder left, the Hong clan's first elder sat alone in his chair, occasionally looking at the list in his hand, feeling pained. During this period, he called Elder Shan over and ordered him to make a trip to the prison to find out everything. After all, they were all in Hong City and did not know what had happened, let alone who they had provoked. Just as the first elder of the Hong family was deep in thought, Elder Shan, who had understood the situation, finally returned. Great Elder, I've asked clearly. The clan head and the elders once wanted to kill a woman and a team that discovered Hong Lian's scandal. It was also them who helped the Yin clan and captured our Hong clan. Otherwise, our Hong clan would not have fallen into the hands of the Yin clan. Elder Shan revealed everything he knew in anger. Where are those people staying now? The first elder of the Hong family asked after hearing what Elder Wan said. I don't know, but I heard that there seems to be a group of people living in Liuxiang residence. I don't know if they're the people that fifth elder and the others mentioned. Elder Shan said after some thought. Oh, go and find out more. The first elder of the Hong family instructed. P. else read on MYB0's novel. COM, yes. Elder Shan responded and turned to leave. Not long after, Elder Sean walked into the living room again and said loudly, "Great Elder, I've asked around. The person who lives in Liuxiang residence is indeed the person that the Master and the Elders once wanted to kill. I know, you may leave." The Hong clan's head elder said softly, but he was extremely puzzled in his heart. Since the Hong clan wanted to kill him, why didn't they kill him earlier? They even let him help the Yin clan. Sigh, what a bunch of useless trash. At the thought of this, he stood up and walked out. With Elder Sean in tow, the two of them arrived at Liuxiang residence. As soon as they entered the courtyard, the two saw a few men and women in their early 20s with extremely outstanding looks sitting on the stone chairs. At this time, they were gathered together and chatting. When they saw the uninvited guests, they did not show much emotion, not even the slightest surprise, as if they were just passers-by. Seeing the other party's calmness, the Hong family's first elder secretly praised him. Why didn't the Hong family have such an outstanding person? Although these people didn't seem to be very powerful, one could tell from their appearance that they were all smart people. Hee. Hello, everyone. I'm the first elder of the Hong family. Please forgive me for my presumptuous visit. The first elder of the Hong family greeted him very politely. First Elder Hong, what's the matter? Ziyu asked with a faint smile. We are here to apologize. Before this, the Hong family has offended you many times. We hope that you will not hold it against them and forgive them this time. The Hong family's first elder said with an apologetic smile. Originally, according to his character, he would never lower his voice to anyone. However, now that he had a favor to ask of someone, he could not put on airs. Hence, his attitude was extremely good. Ziyu and the others looked at each other and looked at the first elder of the Hong family as if they were watching a joke. Then, Ziyu spoke on behalf of the others. First Elder Hong, as long as you pay us the compensation, we will naturally let this matter go. Hey, don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. You should feel honored that our great elder is willing to come and apologize in person, yet you still dare to make so many requests. You really don't know what you're talking about. Before the first elder of the Hong family could reply, Elder Sean, who was beside him, jumped out and roared impatiently. Is this how First Elder Hong apologizes? Ziyu rolled her eyes at Elder Sean, who had just spoken, and said in a cold tone, Elder Sean, shut up. Don't talk nonsense. The first elder of the Hong family reprimanded. Great elder, when has our Hong family ever taken other people's faces into consideration? These people clearly don't have any respect for our Hong family. Let me teach them a good lesson. After Elder Sean finished speaking, he directly released a light blue water attribute divine skill at Ziyu and began a fight. Seeing this, Ziyu smiled coldly. With a slight wave of his hand, the divine power that was flying towards him in the air fell to the ground. How is this possible? Elder Sean's face was filled with disbelief when he saw that his divine skill had been knocked away. The first elder of the Hong family beside him was even more furious. Who asked him to attack this incompetent and useless thing? Fortunately, he didn't hurt the other party. However, the pressure that Ziyu released after that made even his heart tremble. This kind of strength clearly did not belong to the divine mainland. He immediately concluded that the other party was someone from the divine world who had concealed his strength, so he was even more careful. Then a crisp pah sound was heard. Elder Sean was slapped on the face. The force of the slap was so strong that it knocked him to the ground. Elder Sean, who was dazed, could not react at all except to sit on the ground in a daze. After that, the first elder of the Hong family said to Ziyu and the others apologetically, Everyone, I'm sorry. Elder Sean's mind is a bit unclear. I hope you don't take it to heart. First Elder Hong, you first hoped that we wouldn't be calculative with the Hong family, and now you're telling us not to stoop to this elder's level. Why did you say all these things? Yu Qing sneered and then continued. It's fine if you don't want us to haggle over it. As long as you pay the compensation we want, the debt between us will be settled. Otherwise, I can't guarantee the fate of the Hong family members who are locked up in the prison. The first elder of the Hong family didn't expect that the other party would not give him any face. However, In fear of Ziya's pressure, he didn't dare to say anything to annoy the other party. He only secretly hated his own family's poor judgment. Of all the people they could provoke, why did they have to provoke such a difficult enemy? Wasn't this forcing the Hong family to a dead end? First Elder Hong, you can go back now. Ziyu laughed and asked him to leave. Then we'll take our leave first. The first elder of the Hong family said helplessly after a long silence. Then he helped Elder Shan, who had been sitting on the ground in a daze, up and left Liuxiang residence with a depressed heart. Chapter 1375. Sneak Away 1. After the Hong clan's great elder left, he locked himself in his room for a few days and did not come out. The Yin clan's great elder had sent people to invite him many times, and he had personally gone to look for him. However, he had always been blocked by the Hong clan's people, saying that the great elder was considering something. This could not help but make the Yin clan's great elder, who had returned empty-handed, feel quite depressed. Not only that, the scandal between him and the first elder of the Hong family had been spreading more and more fiercely these few days. There were even people who said that the first elder of the Hong family was the one who suffered. Although such rumors gave him a headache, his mood was much better when he heard someone describe the old man of the Hong family as a submissive. However, it wasn't good for the old man to keep avoiding him, right? Could it be that he had to continue to provide for the Hong family in vain? Thinking of this, he sent a guard to pass on his order. From now on, the Hong family was cut off from food. After all, the two families weren't friends now, and they had lived here for so long. Therefore, they wouldn't be entertained. If they wanted to eat, they could buy it with their own money, cook it themselves, or get the ingredients to be cooked by the kitchen. When the Hong family members heard this news, their noses almost went crooked from anger. What the hell is this? Why were the Yin family members becoming more and more stingy? In the past, when they had a good relationship with the Yin family, they wouldn't say anything even if they stayed for a year or so. But now, they had only stayed for a few days, and they were already complaining that they were idle. This was really too much. Following that, the Hong clan's Elder Shan led the team to find the Yin clan's first elder to reason with him. Great Elder Yin, what do you mean by this? They actually cut off our food? How could you do such a thing? Elder Shan roared angrily. What's wrong? Is there a problem? The Yin clan's first elder sat on a chair and sipped his tea, his tone extremely cold as he asked. He did not even lift his eyelids. Of course there's a problem. You're a guest, and the Yin clan should treat you well. How can you let us prepare our own food? Could it be that your Yin clan is so poor that you don't even have the money to prepare food for us? Elder Shan's face was flushed red as he questioned loudly. Yup. You also know that our family head was injured by your great elder. In order to treat our family head's injury, we have spent a lot of money, and you have been eating and living for so many days. We really can't afford to feed you. However, considering the friendship between our two families, I can't continue to provide you with the accommodation for free and won't charge you money, but you have to find a way for the food yourself. The Yin clan's first elder said with a difficult expression. Yup, Elder Shan, the members of our Yin clan have been eating without a next meal. AI. We're all waiting for your Hong family's compensation to buy rice to cook. An elder immediately chimed in and even exaggeratedly wiped his eyes. In order to cooperate with his words, all the elders present sighed and looked worried. Seeing the Yin family's behavior, Elder Shan was so angry that he couldn't speak. Seeing Elder Shan's face turn from white to red, and then from red to black, Yin tribe's first elder laughed in his heart, but he still said with a serious face, Elder Shan, if you're afraid of trouble, you can also pay us for your food. We'll be able to prepare food for you every day like before. No need to worry. We will prepare our own food. Elder Shan said in an unpleasant tone. After he finished speaking, he turned around and left angrily. Looking at the back view of the Hong family, the Yin family's first elder and the others couldn't help but laugh. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM, second elder, send someone to keep an eye on them. Report to me immediately if there's any sign of trouble. The Yin clan's first elder instructed, and after he finished speaking, he stood up and left. 3 days later, the first elder of the Hong family, who had been hiding in his room, finally came out. Moreover, as soon as he came out, the Yin clan's first elder's men immediately arrived. Looking at the haggard face of the first elder of the Hong family, the first elder of the Yin family chuckled and said, "First elder Hong, what's wrong? I haven't seen you for a few days. How did you become so dispirited?" "When did I?" "You're wrong." The first elder of the Hong family suppressed his anger and said in a low voice. Seeing this guy as soon as he left the room, his mood became even worse. Moreover, Elder Sean, who originally wanted to complain to him, didn't have the chance to speak. He could only keep winking at him. Hee, that's not important. I'm just here to ask if First Elder Hong has considered it. It's been so many days, I'm getting impatient. The Yin clan's first elder said with a sincere expression, "Great Elder Yin, you've asked for so many things at once. You should at least let me think about it." The first elder of the Hong family, who was also a little impatient, said in a bad mood, "First Elder Hong, you have to think about it carefully. Once you've thought it through, you'll have to spend time preparing these things. I want to ask, when will the compensation we want be delivered to us?" The Yin clan's first elder frowned and asked curiously, "We're not in a hurry, so why are you?" Elder Sean couldn't help but roar when he heard the Yin clan's first elder's words. "You are in debt. Of course you are not in a hurry. But we're anxious. Also, don't forget that there are still many people from your Hong family locked up in prison. Don't they need to eat every day? The longer we delay, the more our Yin clan will have to pay. So, if you don't pay the compensation quickly and they starve to death in prison, don't blame me." The Yin clan's first elder indifferently reminded, "What's the meaning of this?" The first elder of the Hong family quickly asked when he heard that something was wrong. "What I mean is, if you don't pay the compensation quickly, our Yin family won't be able to afford their meals." The Yin clan's first elder said with an evil smile. In fact, from the day he cut off the food for Elder Sean and the others, he had also ordered that the Hong clan members in the prison cell would only be given one meal a day. He felt that he had already done his best. After all, they were enemies. The first elder of the Hong clan, whose face was flushed red, was a little angry after hearing the first elder of the Yin clan's words. However, he couldn't say anything, nor was he in any position to criticize him. After all, the relationship between the two clans was no longer the same as before. "First Elder Hong, quickly make your decision. It's not good for us to drag this on." Yin tribe's first elder urged. "Good. Since you said so, I have something to say as well." The first elder of the Hong family said. Chapter 1376. Sneak away, too. What do you have to say? The Yin clan's first elder, whose face was filled with question marks, couldn't help but ask. "The compensation you want is too much. I want to change it." The first elder of the Hong family suggested. "I'm sorry, I can't change it. I've said it before, that's not the compensation that our family is asking for." Yin tribe's first elder's face was filled with stubbornness, and there was no room for discussion. "Let me finish." The first elder of the Hong family roared. "All right, then tell me." Yin tribe's first elder was extremely helpless. He wanted to see what this old thing had to say. "I request that the compensation be reduced by half." The first elder of the Hong clan had just started to speak when he was interrupted by the first elder of the Yin clan. "No, not a single cent less." The Yin clan's first elder didn't give first elder Hong a chance to continue speaking and said straightforwardly, "What a joke. Not all of those things are what the Yin clan wanted. If he reduced it by half, wouldn't the Yin clan have to bleed a lot again?" According to his original intention, he wanted the Hong family to help them share the burden of the compensation. Hence, the Hong family had to pay the full amount. "Let me finish." The first elder of the Hong family couldn't take it anymore and shouted at the top of his voice. Then, he continued, "What I mean is, we'll only pay half of the compensation. In addition, they'll be responsible for treating your family head's injuries. That should be fine, right?" This was a compromise that he had thought about for a few days. He knew that if he only said that he would cure Master Yan's injury and did not mention any compensation, the Yin family would definitely not agree. Therefore, they would have to pay the blood, and now it was only a matter of how much. First Elder Hong, the compensation we ask for cannot be any less. Yin clan's first elder said with a faint smile, "Humph." Sure enough, as he thought, this old thing actually used the family head's illness as a threat. If the family head's injury had not been cured long ago, he would have agreed to the Hong family's request, even if he was not willing. You don't want to treat your master's injuries? After hearing the Yin clan's first elder's words, the Hong clan's first elder's face was filled with disbelief. According to the news he had received, the Yin clan had put in a lot of effort and racked their brain for the sake of their clan head's injuries. Now that he had taken the initiative to offer treatment, they would rather compensate him than accept his conditions. This made him a little at a loss. He had thought about it for a few days before coming up with his compromise. He thought it was almost certain, but he didn't expect the other party to reject it. This made him a little confused and didn't know what to do. Seeing the stunned look on the Hong clan's first elder's face, the Yin clan's first elder felt extremely happy. The feeling of not being threatened by others was really good, because the Yin clan had suffered quite a bit from the Hong clan recently. Therefore, seeing the Hong clan's first elder being suppressed, he felt extremely pleased in his heart. First Elder Hong, I actually want to say that we will think of a way to treat our patriarch's injuries ourselves, so there's no need for First Elder to worry. You just need to prepare the compensation we need. You can't miss a single thing. Of course, you can also choose to give up on these elites of the Hong family. Yin tribe's first elder deliberately provoked. From the Hong family's hesitant attitude, he knew that the Hong family had no intention of giving up on these people. It wasn't hard to understand. 8% of the people that the Hong family's head had brought were elites. If the Hong family decided to give up on these people, the Hong family would never be able to stand on the godly mainland. This was not a blow that the Hong family could take. Great Elder Yin, I know that our Hong family has offended you many times recently, but our two families have been friends for so many years. Can't you be magnanimous and let us off? The first elder of the Hong family played the emotional card again. P.L.'s read on MYB Zero's novel. COM, First Elder Hong. Did your Hong family not consider the many years of friendship between our two families when you were doing these things? Do you think it's useful to say this now? The Yin clan's first elder said with a look of disdain. Oomph. This was the way the Hong family dealt with people. They had two completely different attitudes towards others and themselves. If others did not do what they liked, it was the other person's fault. However, even if they did something that everyone pointed fingers at, they would still think that they could be forgiven. How could there be such a good thing in the world? It was simply nonsense. This isn't all because of the marriage of the next generation. The children are insensible. Do we really have to argue with them? The Hong clan's first elder's face was completely red as he stammered. Of course, he knew that his clan was in the wrong. However, at this moment, he would rather die than admit it. Otherwise, their Hong clan would forever be controlled by the Yin clan. Are kids that easy to use as excuses? If a child of the Yin clan were to kill the head of your Hong clan, can we also say that the child is insensible and ask you to not hold it against him? Yin tribe's first elder raised his eyes and asked indifferently. The first elder of the Hong family did not expect the other party to use his own words to shut him up. He was at a loss for words. First Elder Hong, we're not fools. It's better to be straightforward. Don't use this to bully others. The Yin clan's first elder warned very seriously. You're really not willing to let our Hong family off the hook. The first elder of the Hong family asked, unwilling to give up. First Elder Hong, let me put it this way. Even if we agree, I want to be able to explain it to the others. Moreover, they've done a favor for our Yin clan. I can't possibly be ungrateful. The Yin clan first elder tactfully refused. A favor? What favor? I only helped you when our two families were killing each other. Besides, as far as I know, you should have some enmity with each other. Isn't your Ling still in their hands? Since you can bury the hatchet, Why can't our two families do the same? The Han clan's first elder gritted his teeth. The reason why he said this was to remind the Yin clan's first elder that the other party was not friends with them. First Elder Hong, this is different. Our Yin family was in the wrong first. If he is willing to forgive us, we have no reason not to agree. As for Ling, she only has herself to blame. Even if she dies in the hands of the other party, she can't blame anyone else. Moreover, you have also seen the other party's strength. The Yin clan's first elder nonchalantly said. Chapter 1377. Sneak Away 3. Could it be that you're afraid of the other party's strength? The first elder of the Han clan was surprised. Although the other party was most likely from the Divine Realm, it was not as if the two clans did not have any backers in the Divine Realm. He could not understand why the Yin clan would be afraid of the other party's strength. Of course not. I've said it before. We owe them a debt of gratitude. The Yin clan's first elder said in a light voice. What kind of favor? The first elder of the Hong family asked, unwilling to give up. Please forgive me for not being able to comment. First Elder Hong, we only need to talk about the compensation. You don't need to worry about anything else. The Yin clan's first elder did not want to talk about this issue anymore, so he directly said, as for compensation, the first elder of the Hong family had only said a few words before he was interrupted again. Not a single cent less. The Yin clan's first elder reminded with a smile. He was in a good mood. Great Elder Yin, don't push me too far. If you push me too far, you'll invite the people from the main family of the divine world. Let's see what you'll do then. Seeing that the soft approach didn't work, the Hong family's first elder could only use the hard approach. Is first Elder Hong threatening me? I'm so scared. Yin tribe's first elder pretended to be afraid and then snorted. Oomph. You know to ask the main family to support you, but do you think I don't know? Originally, I didn't want to alarm the main family, but if you want the main family to know that we've caused such a ruckus, then you could go ahead and invite them. Although the Yin clan had a main family in the divine world, the main family was still the main family. Other than the fact that they had to hand over a certain amount of items to the main family every 100 years in exchange for resources that were not available on the divine continent, they were basically self-sufficient. If they provoked a strong enemy, not only would the main family not stand up for them, but they might even abandon them. This was one of the main reasons why they were kind to others and were unwilling to make enemies. Although the great elder of the Hong family had used the main family in the divine realm to threaten them, he believed that the Hong family in the divine realm would not easily meddle in the affairs of their branches. Unless there were enough benefits, the people of the main family might still be willing to stand up for them. However, the appetites of the people of the main family would definitely not be less than them. Therefore, he believed that as long as the great elder of the Hong family was not stupid, he would not be willing to disturb the main family. The truth was just as the Yin clan's first elder had expected. The Hong clan's first elder was indeed unwilling to alert the main clan because of this matter. The reason he had brought the main clan out was just to scare the other party. However, the Yin clan's first elder did not fall for it. This made him extremely depressed. Seeing that the Hong clan's first elder was silent for a long time, the Yin clan's first elder slowly opened his mouth and said, First Elder Hong, I know that you feel that we're asking for too much and that your heart is aching. However, you didn't even think about it. If we take these things away, the debt between us will be settled. In the future, as long as your Hong clan doesn't take the initiative to provoke us, our Yin clan will naturally not provoke you. But if you let the main family know about this, the benefits of them standing up for you will not be less than the compensation we want. Moreover, can you guarantee that they will be satisfied just once? The main family's appetites are much bigger than ours. This time, in order to treat the family head's injury, I don't know how many good things I've sent to the main family. Until now, there has been no news from the main family. If I'm not wrong, I'm afraid that all the things I've sent have gone to waste. Do you want to be like me? I think it's better for us to solve this matter ourselves. Our Yin family spent a lot of money to treat Master's injury, and you're the one who caused it, so you can't deny the compensation. If you think that it's not a loss to invite the main family to deal with us, then I have nothing to say. Goodbye. If you've made up your mind, then come and find me." The Yin clan's first elder said earnestly, and then left without looking back. Looking at Yin clan's first elder's back, and then at the silent first elder, Elder Sean couldn't help but say, "First elder, what do we do now?" P.L.'s read on MYB0's novelle. COM, Elder Sean, what's your opinion? The first elder of the Hong family had no one to discuss with, so he asked Elder Sean. Elder Sean was extremely excited when he heard first elder's question. The great elder actually asked for his opinion. This was really like the sun rising from the west. One should know that in the eyes of the Hong family's master and the elders, he was a brainless person. Therefore, they would not discuss anything important with him. However, he did not expect that the great elder, who had always looked down on him, would actually ask for his opinion. He was so excited that he was speechless. "Elder Sean, what's your opinion?" Seeing that Elder Sean's face had turned red and he did not speak for a long time, the great elder could not help but repeat loudly. In his heart, he was scolding him. What a shameful thing. He asked him for his opinion, but he could not say a word for a long time. He was very angry, so he naturally did not think that Elder Sean was so excited that he could not speak. "Arg, the great elder, you should ask for my opinion." Elder Sean, who had finally reacted, said in a daze, "Nonsense, I'm asking you, of course." The first elder of the Hong family said in an unpleasant tone, "Great elder, I feel that the old man from the Yin clan's words aren't without reason. The main clan is indeed a bottomless hole that can't be filled. Unless you decide not to care about the life and death of the clan head and the others, we can't not pay this compensation. First elder, money is just a worldly possession. As long as the family head and the others are safe and sound, what's the big deal with losing some money? After 100 years or so, our Hong family will be able to recover its strength. However, if we really invite the main family, I really don't dare to imagine what kind of consequences that would be. Of course, if you're like the family head and have the intention of destroying the Yin family, then please ask the main family to send someone over." Elder Sean thought for a moment before speaking in a very serious manner. His words made the first elder of Hong family, who had always looked down on him, cast a sidelong glance at him. Suddenly, the first elder looked at Elder Sean in a different way, because he had never dreamed that Elder Sean could say such philosophical words. It was really beyond his expectation. Seeing that the great elder had not spoken for a long time and only stared at him, Elder Sean was a little afraid. Did he say something wrong, so the great elder was a little angry? Sob, he was just spouting nonsense. At the thought of this, Elder Sean pulled a long face and said with some fear, "Great elder, don't be angry. I'm just talking nonsense. Just treat it as my words are farts." Chapter 1378. Sneak away for nonsense? How could this be considered nonsense? Elder Sean, you're right, AI. If the head of the family could think like you, our relationship with the Hong family wouldn't be in this state. The first elder of the Hong family sighed. However, his praise was like a bolt of lightning to Elder Sean, who was struck dumb. Seeing that Elder Sean had once again fallen into a daze, the first elder of the Hong family helplessly shook his head and turned to leave. Elder Sean remained standing in his original spot in a daze, muttering to himself, "First elder actually praised me. Oh, I'm so happy." At this moment, the Yin family's first elder, who had left the guest courtyard where the Hong family lived, came to Liuxiang residence with a pounding heart. The moment he entered the courtyard, he saw Lung Ruoxue and the rest sitting there. When she saw him, Lung Ruoxue smiled and asked, "Why is Yin tribe's first elder here?" "Miss Lung, I have something to discuss with you," the Yin clan's first elder said with some difficulty. Then, he repeated the conversation he had with the Hong clan's first elder to Lung Ruoxue and the rest. Lung Ruoxue was silent for a moment before she slowly opened her mouth. "What is the status of the Hong clan in the divine realm?" Although the Hong clan cannot be considered as a top-notch clan in the Divine Realm, it is still a first-rate clan. Its strength is slightly stronger than the main clan of our Yin clan. The Yin clan's first elder explained, "Isn't the Yin clan a dark clan? The strength on the surface might not be comparable to the Hong family, but if you add the strength in the dark, it should not be inferior to the Hong family." Lung Ruoshu asked with a smile, how does Miss Lung know that our Yin clan is a dark clan?" The Yin clan's first elder's face was filled with surprise. It seemed that this person already knew the Yin clan's background like the back of his hand. In reality, he was overthinking things. Other than knowing that the Yin family was a dark family, Lung Ruoshua didn't know much about the Yin family situation. However, Lung Ruoshua naturally wouldn't tell him the truth. She only smiled and said, "I naturally have my own channels." The Yin clan's first elder understood that Lung Ruoshua had no intention of telling him. Hence, he tactfully did not pursue the matter. "Young Lady Lung, if the Hong family really found someone from the main family, how should we deal with them?" The Yin clan's first elder added. Instead of seeking help from the main clan, he would rather seek help from Lung Ruoshua and the others. From his point of view, Lung Ruoshua was much easier to talk to than the main clan. Furthermore, they were allies on the same vine. We'll deal with whatever comes our way. Even if the Hong family managed to get the help of the main family might not send too many experts. Furthermore, the people from a divine world can only display the strength of a high-level deity on the divine mainland. "What are you afraid of?" Lung Ruoshua said disapprovingly. That may be the case, but even if the people of the divine realm can only display the strength of a high-level deity, they're still not someone we can deal with. They don't even need to make a move. Just a pressure from them is enough to make us unable to withstand it. The Yin clan's first elder couldn't help but ask. First Elder Hong won't ask their main family to do it, so you can rest assured. After Lung Ruoshua heard the Yin clan's first elder's words, she laughed indifferently. That old man was quite shrewd. If he knew what was best for him, why would he do such a stupid thing? P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. Since Miss Lung is so confident, then I can rest assured. Yin clan's first elder said. After he finished speaking, he exchanged pleasantries with Lung Ruoshua and the rest for a while before he stood up and bade farewell. After the Yin clan's first elder left, Yu Qing looked at Lung Ruoshua and asked curiously, "Miss, the Hong family really want ask their main family to make a move?" The first elder of the Hong clan will definitely not be invited. As for the others, it's hard to say. However, after the Hong clan has compensated the Yin clan with the items they requested, I'm afraid that the Hong clan won't have the chance to ask the main clan for help. Lung Ruoshua said. During the few days she had stayed at the Hong family, she had basically asked Green Vessel to find out what good things the Hong family had. Otherwise, she would not have written such a list. It was obvious that she wanted to extort the Hong family. Oh, hee. Even if the Hong family has invited the main family, we're not afraid. It's a good opportunity to exercise. Yu Qing said with a smirk. We just need to wait and see. Lung Ruoshua nodded. The next day, the Hong clan's first elder personally went to find the Yin clan's first elder and said that he was willing to compensate according to the list. However, it would take a few days before the items could be delivered to the Yin clan. The first elder of the Yin family expressed his understanding after hearing this. However, he also made it clear that the Hong family would return to the Zhao family in one piece when the Hong family had prepared everything. 3 days later, the Hong family had finally prepared all the things they want to compensate. In the living room of the Yin residence, the Yin clan's first elder was extremely pleased to see the Hong clan's first elder hand over the storage ring to him with a pained expression. However, as the saying goes, blood brothers settle accounts clearly. Therefore, he still had to compare the contents of the list one by one. Seeing that the first elder of the Yin clan was actually checking them one by one, the mouths of the Hong clan members twitched. Many of them were cursing in their hearts. Was there a need to check so carefully? Could it be that their Hong family would lack something from them? After a long time, the Yin clan's first elder finally finished his inspection, and he beamed at the Hong clan's first elder. Yes, yes, everything is not missing. Since there's nothing wrong with the item, then let him go. The first elder of the Hong family twitched his mouth and said helplessly, "Second elder, go to the prison and get him." The Yin clan's first elder nodded and instructed the second elder sitting beside him. "All right," he said. The second elder of the Yin clan nodded and then left the living room. Not long after, the second elder of the Yin clan brought in the locked-up master of the Hong clan and the others. Everyone from the Hong family was excited when they saw their first elder. The master of the Hong family was about to say something to the first elder, but the first elder didn't even look at him. He stood up and ordered Elder Shan to take the master and the others away. However, before he could leave, he was stopped by the Yin clan's first elder. "What else do you have to say?" The first elder of the Hong family said in an unpleasant tone. "First Elder Hong, calm down. I know you're not in a good mood, but there's something I think you should know." The Yin clan's first elder said indifferently. Chapter 1379. Sneak Away 5. What is it? The first elder of the Hong family was puzzled. Hadn't he already paid the compensation? What else is there? It's about the scandal between the two of us. The Yin clan's first elder calmly said. Didn't I say that this has nothing to do with me? The first elder of the Hong family roared in anger. Fuck, why do you want to blame everything on him? It's not related to you, but it's related to your Hong family. The Yin clan's first elder said with a smile that was not a smile. His gaze then drifted over to Elder Shan, who was standing beside the Hong clan's first elder. Originally, when he heard the Yin clan's first elder's words, Elder Shan's heart was already beating with fear. Now that he received the other party's gaze, his heart began to beat irregularly and madly. Woo! Wasn't the matter already resolved? The Yin clan had also gotten what they wanted. So why did they still mention this matter? He did it on purpose. That old man from the Yin clan was definitely doing this on purpose. He couldn't help but curse in his heart and subconsciously lowered his head. Who is it related to? The first elder of the Hong family said angrily. He dared to say that he was the submissive. He really didn't want to live. If he knew who this person was, he would definitely skin him alive. He thought to himself with hatred. This person is far away, but right in front of you. He's Elder Shan. Who's beside you? The Yin clan's first elder said with a kind smile. It's you. After hearing the Yin clan's first elder's words, the Hong clan's first elder turned to glare at Elder Shan and questioned angrily. Fuck. He did not expect that the person who claimed to be the receiver would be Elder Shan. Initially, he had a slight change of opinion of Elder Shan. However, because of this, Elder Shan's opinion of him had returned to its original state. Great Elder, I'm innocent, Elder Shan said with a pitiful and bitter face. First Elder Hong, you only need to ask Elder Shan's trusted aide and you'll know if he's innocent or not. Yin tribe's first elder suggested, and his words made Elder Shan gnash his teeth in hatred. Oomph. They'll settle the score with you when we get back. The first elder of the Hong clan angrily said. After he finished speaking, he left the Yin residence's living room without looking back and directly walked out of the courtyard. First elder, listen to me. Elder Shan chased after him with a look of fear. Seeing this, the other members of the Hong family quickly followed. They didn't want to come to the Yin residence anymore. After the Hong family left, the second elder of the Yin family looked at his first elder with a puzzled expression and said, First elder, Elder Shan ordered people to spread those rumors. Why did you let him off just like that? What else can I do? The Hong family just bled a lot. Do you think you can still squeeze any profit out of them? Moreover, that old thing from the Hong family won't let him off easily. The Yin clan's first elder said in understanding. Although he was rumored to have an affair with the Hong clan's first elder, fortunately, he was not said to be the submissive. Otherwise, he would definitely not let Elder Shan off. Now, He would leave Elder Sean to First Elder Hong to deal with. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. That's true. The second elder of Yin tribe nodded. Then, the Yin clan's first elder stood up and walked towards the main courtyard where the clan head was. After finding the clan head, the two of them went to Liuxiang residence where Lung Ruoxue and the others were. As she looked at the two middle-aged men walking in hand, Lung Ruoxue was very clear that the one she had not seen before was the patriarch of the Yin clan. "Miss Lung, this is our master," the great elder explained. After a few days of closed-door cultivation, the patriarch had made a breakthrough. His strength was now at the advanced level of the advanced deity stage, which was considered one of the top in the divine mainland. Therefore, the Yin clan naturally had no need to fear the great elder's strength. Congratulations to Yin family head for recovering from your injuries and even achieving a breakthrough, Lung Ruoxue said courteously. This was all thanks to Miss Lung's cold frost pill. Otherwise, I would still be lying in bed now. Our Yin clan has been too slow in this period of time. The Yin clan head said apologetically after expressing his gratitude. When he saw Lung Ruoxue and the rest, he finally understood what it meant by hearing is false, seeing is believing. It was true that one's reputation was not as good as seeing in person. His second son and great elder's descriptions simply couldn't express the shock he felt when he first met these people. How could his blind eldest son and granddaughter provoke such people? Fortunately, their Yin family was tactful and didn't reject the other party's conditions. Otherwise, the consequences would really be unimaginable. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Yin family head is too polite. Although our fate originated from hatred, now we are all happy. Your Yin family knows how to conduct itself, so I naturally want to take out my anger on you for Yin Ling heirs matter. Lung Ruoxue promised. As for whether or not the Yin clan would have any enmity with her, that was not within her jurisdiction. However, she believed that as long as the Yin clan wasn't stupid, they wouldn't hold a grudge against her, just because of Yin Ling. If that was the case, they wouldn't be willing to sacrifice Yin Ling in order to have a good relationship with them. I know that Miss Lung is a forthright person, and Ling it can be considered to have brought this upon herself, so she can't blame anyone else. I really hope to be friends with Miss Lung. The Yin clan had immediately expressed his attitude. At the same time, he took the initiative to hand over the compensation that Lung Ruoxue had requested. Miss Lung, the compensation you want is all inside. Please take a look. The patriarch of the Yin clan said, I trust the Yin clan's credibility. Lung Ruoxue received the storage ring from the Yin clan's clan head. Without even looking at it, she passed it to Ziyu for safekeeping. Miss Lung, Yin Kuan, the city lord of Yinbei City, and I are considered good friends despite our age difference. I wonder who you are with him, the Yin family head asked curiously. However, he did not finish his sentence and looked at Lung Ruoxue with anticipation. We are neighbors, Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. She didn't really want others to know about her relationship with Yin Kuan. Therefore, even though her words weren't completely true, they could still be considered true. After all, Nightmare Forest and Northern Yin City were indeed neighbors. Then may I know which city young miss is from? The Yin clan head asked again. He knew that there were 4 small cities closest to Northern Yin City. Since this Miss Lung said that she was a neighbor of Northern Yin City, then the city she lived in should be one of the 4 cities. He secretly guessed. I live in the Nightmare Forest, Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. The Yin clan master and the great elder let out a cry of surprise at the same time. They all thought to themselves, did they hear wrong? Miss Lung said that she was living in the Nightmare Forest? Wasn't that place occupied by someone a few years ago? It was said that the person who claimed that place was very powerful, and even the Ning family, the leader of the 8 great divine regions, recognized their status. From this, it could be seen how difficult it was to provoke the new master of the Nightmare Forest. However, The Yin family had always liked to keep a low profile, so they did not go there with the other forces at that time. Naturally, they did not know what had happened there and why many forces had kept quiet about it since then. However, the new master of the forest was not easy to provoke. Words like these were still widely spread across the divine continent. "Miss Lung, is that your territory?" The Yin clan head asked. "Yes, I am." Lung Roashua nodded her head, not denying it. "This old master truly admires you for daring to set up your own territory there." The Yin clan's first elder's eyes lit up as if he had just seen his idol. One must know that not just anyone could occupy that place. For so many years, many forces had coveted that place. However, no one had managed to occupy it. As for Lung Ruoxue, she was able to gain the recognition of all the forces. From this, it could be seen that her methods were not ordinary. Fortunately, he did not vent his anger on the entire Yin family because of Ling and her father. Otherwise, the Yin family would not be able to withstand his anger. After knowing the identities of Lung Ruoxue and the others, the Yin clan head and first elder were even more determined to befriend them. Hence, they were even more concerned about their well-being. Lung Ruoxue and the others, who had planned to leave, had no choice but to stay in the Yin residence for a few more days at the warm invitation of the Yin family head. However, they could not stand the excessive hospitality and enthusiasm of the Yin family head and great elder, so they took advantage of the night and quietly left. Chapter 1380 Yin Ling Heirs Revenge 1. After Lung Ruoxue and the rest left the Yin residence, they traveled through the night and only found an empty spot in the outskirts to rest the next evening. After setting up the tent, Yin Xiao, who had left with them, walked over to Lung Ruoxue and the demon and sat down beside them. He could not help but ask curiously, "Shua, where are you planning to go?" "Let's go home," Lung Ruoxue said with a faint smile. They had come down the mountain to say hello to Yin Kuan before going into closed-door cultivation. Who knew that it would involve so many things? Now that she thought about it, she felt that it was a little unbelievable. "Big Brotherine, where do you plan to go?" Lung Ruoxue asked after she finished speaking. "We're free to do as we please. We're here to gain experience anyway. Of course, we'll go wherever it's fun or dangerous," Yin Xiao said with a smile. "Oh, why don't you come to our house for a few days, Big Brotherine? We're staying in the Nightmare Forest. It can definitely satisfy all of Brotherine's requests." Lung Ruoxue invited with a smile. "All right, Shua, since you've invited me so sincerely, I won't be polite," Yin Xiao said happily. He was just thinking about how to spend more time with them. Now that he was given this opportunity, he naturally wouldn't let it go. "You should be more polite." Actually, Shua was just casually asking. He couldn't bear to see Yin Xiao's proud evildoer and spoke with a straight face. "Ha ha, you're not cute at all. I think no woman in this world would like you except for Shue." Yin Xiao laughed. "Other than Shue, I don't need any other woman to like me," the demon said disapprovingly. "Young master, you're wrong." After hearing their talk, Uncle Zhong corrected them seriously. "That's not right." Yin Xiao's handsome face was filled with confusion. "There are many women who like young Master Yi. Aren't the daughters of the Yin and Hong families the same?" Uncle Zhong said. Uncle Zhong is right. However, those women only like him because of his looks. If they know that he's not attractive, they will definitely not like him. Yin Xiao looked at the demon and said, "They'll still say the same thing. Other than Shue, I don't need anyone to like me," the demon said coldly. Although he was a little angry that the master and servant made fun of him, he was not completely angry. P.L.'s read on MYB0's novel. COM. Ha ha ha. It's done. They'll stop joking. Let me ask you, how are you going to deal with that Yinling? Yin Xiao knew when to stop. Hence, he did not continue the conversation before the demon was completely angry. This was also one of the reasons why he could not make Lung Ruoxue and the rest hate him. "Does Big Brothering have any good ideas?" Lung Ruoshu asked with a faint smile. When they left the Yin residence, they had also taken Yin Ling with them. Although she had been tortured by Xian and Shui Ying for many days, Yin Ling was still alive. This woman will be a disaster sooner or later. Why don't we just... Yin Xiao looked at Yin Ling who was tied up like a dumpling, and made a gotcha gesture. I've already handed her over to Bai Xian and Shui Ying to deal with. When they're done playing, they'll probably get rid of her. Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. Sure, this kind of thing should be done sooner rather than later. Otherwise, if she escapes, I'm afraid there will be endless trouble. Seeing the hatred in Yin Ling, Heir's eyes, Yin Xiao was a little worried. Big brother Yin, don't worry. She won't be able to escape. Lung Ruoxue chuckled as she promised. Actually, even if Yin Ling ran away, she wasn't afraid, because even if that woman ran away, she wouldn't live for long. They wouldn't be able to cause any waves. That's good. However, it's better to send more people to watch her. Yin Xiao said, a little worried. Big brother Yin, it's just a woman. You really don't have to take it to heart. Lung Ruoxue consoled. I know, but I have a bad feeling. I feel that this woman will bring us trouble. Yin Xiao said uneasily. Ever since he was young, his intuition had been very accurate, so he didn't have a good impression of Yin Ling, the first time he saw her. Big brother Yin, if there's trouble, let's just solve it. Besides, sometimes even if we don't take the initiative to cause trouble, trouble will come to us. Lung Ruoxue gave Yin Xiao a reassuring look. In short, we'd better be careful since we're bringing such trouble with us. Yin Xiao reminded. Don't worry, big brother Yin. She won't be able to escape. Lung Ruoxue promised once again. After dinner, everyone returned to their tents to rest. Midnight, Lung Ruoxue was woken up by Qing Ju. Unwillingly opening her eyes, Lung Ruoxue looked at Qing Ju and said, Qing Ju, what happened again? Sister, I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? Qing Ju said with a smile. As you wish. Lung Ruoxue did not think much of it. To think that the stinky green vessel would do this too. I really don't know who he learned it from. She thought helplessly. Then I'll tell you the bad news first. Qing Ju laughed evilly. Then, he cleared his throat on purpose before he slowly said, Sister, Yin Ling ran away. Oh, Lung Ruoxue responded softly, obviously not too concerned about this matter. Sister, don't you want to know how she got away? When Qing Ju saw how calm Lung Ruoxue's reaction was, he could not help but ask, Oh. His sister's reaction made him unable to continue. You say it. I'm listening. Lung Ruoxue chuckled as she looked at Qing Ju's pouting lips in dissatisfaction. That woman is really cunning. She said that she needed to go to the toilet and lied to the night watchman arranged by the Yin family. In the end, she left and never returned. Qing Ju said with a faint smile, Oh, brother Yin and the rest must be very anxious. Stinky Qing Ju, why did you only wake me up now? Lung Ruoxue pretended to be unhappy. Sister, how can you blame me for this? You were the one who didn't wake me up. Qing Ju felt very wronged, and there were tears in his black and bright eyes. Stinky Qing Ju, stop acting. Tell me the good news. Lung Ruoxue said. Sister, the good news is that Yin Ling, that annoying woman, has run away. We've finally gotten rid of her. Qing Ju said excitedly. Chapter 1381. Yin Ling Heirs Revenge 2. After hearing Qing Ju's words, Lung Ruoxue's forehead was filled with black lines. She could not help but say, Qing Ju, how can this be considered good news? Yin Ling has run away, and she will definitely come back to take revenge on us. So, we're in big trouble. Sister, you can lie to outsiders, but you want to lie to me? Was that even possible? I know that you don't care whether Yin Ling runs away or not, because you don't see her as trouble at all. That woman is a person who can't accomplish anything, but is good at ruining things. Qing Ju said with a look of disdain. Ah, green vessel. Have I ever said that you're becoming more and more shrewd? Lung Ruoxue said speechlessly. In her heart, she was crying. Why couldn't she hide her thoughts from these little fellows? She was so depressed. Hee. Big sister has raised you well. Qing Ju said humbly and pushed all the credit to Lung Ruoxue. Are you complimenting your sister? Lung Ruoxue felt helpless and aggrieved. Why'd she ever groom them? They had clearly comprehended it on their own. All right. MMH. Big sister, you guys should hurry up and leave. That Brother Ian's subordinate has lost her, and he's very anxious. Qing Ju reminded. Okay, then we'll go out. After Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, she brought the evildoer out of the bracelet. Just as he walked out of the tent, Yin Xiao came up to him with an ashamed expression. Shui, I'm sorry. It's all my people's fault for not doing their job well, and actually letting Yin Ling run away. Yin Xiao's face was filled with guilt. He then instructed Uncle Zhong to bring the 2 night watchmen who were tied up to Lung Ruoxue and said, Shui, the 2 of them have failed in their duties. I'm handing them over to you now. You can do whatever you want with them. Big Brother Yin, what are you doing? Although they are responsible for Yin Ling Heir's escape, you can't blame them completely. Uncle Zhong, let them go. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Sure, this isn't just because they didn't do their job properly. It's also because they're soft-hearted. So, no matter what happens to them, they ask for it. You don't have to spare them on my account. Yin Xiao said bluntly. He was extremely angry at his subordinates' failure to live up to expectations because he realized that all the education he had given them had been in vain. He was afraid that if this happened once, there would be a second time. Those who were soft-hearted to their enemies would not live long in the divine world. Therefore, he would rather let Lung Ruoxue deal with these 2 people. It was better than them dying in the hands of others. Big Brother Yin, most men have tender feelings for women, so it's understandable for them to be soft-hearted towards Yin Ling. However, this kind of thing really cannot happen again and again. They are all your people, so it's better for you to punish them. I believe that after this incident, they should not dare to commit the same mistake again. Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. All right then, Uncle Zhong, you'll remember their mistakes first and punish them after I return to the divine world. Seeing that Lung Ruoxue was unwilling to punish them, Yin Xiao had no choice but to keep the 2 of them in his hands. Yes, young master. Yes, master, Uncle Zhong replied, and then took the 2 night watchmen away. After Uncle Zhong had left with the 2 men, Lung Ruoxue asked, Big Brother Yin, how long has Yin Ling been running? PL's read on MYB0's Nov L. COM. It's been almost an hour. I've already sent people to chase after them. Yin Xiao said, a little embarrassed. Big Brother Yin, let your people come back. There's no need to chase. Lung Ruoxue chuckled as she spoke to Yin Xiao. Yin Ling is injured and shouldn't have run far. If we don't catch her, I'm afraid there will be endless trouble in the future. Yin Xiao said worriedly. He had just talked about Yin Ling, with Lung Ruoxue and the others in the evening, and it had come true that night. This made him feel helpless, and he felt like he was a jinx. The good things didn't come true, and the bad things came true. Brother Yin, it's just Yin Ling. She can't cause any big waves. Don't worry. Lung Ruoxue smiled faintly, as if she was confident. All right then. With that, Yin Xiao shot a red flare into the sky. This was used by the Yin family to contact their clansmen, and only the Yin family knew what this red flare represented. Not long after, the subordinates that Yin Xiao had sent out to find Yin Ling slowly returned to the group. However, none of them were in the mood to sleep at the moment. Instead, they sat together in groups of 3 to 5 and started chatting. Shui, what do you think Yin Ling will go? I even specially sent people to chase after them on the road back to the Yin residence, but they didn't even see a shadow. Yin Xiao's face was gloomy. Seeing his subordinates return empty-handed, it was impossible for him not to be disappointed. She won't return to the Yin family, and the Yin family won't accept her again. Lung Ruoxue said. Then should we send the news of Yin Ling Heir's escape back to the Yin family? Yin Xiao asked. Yes, of course. Lung Ruoshua laughed evilly. He'll arrange for someone to deliver the letter to the Yin residence now. When Yin Xiao heard Lung Ruoxu's words, he quickly replied, No need, big brother Yin. I've already made the arrangements. The Yin family should know about this by tomorrow morning. Lung Ruoshua said with a smile, Sure. You're really fast. How come I didn't see you telling your subordinates to leave? Yin Xiao's handsome face was filled with question marks. It's not a human who's going to deliver the letter. It's my beastie. Lung Ruoshua explained with a smile. After knowing that Yin Ling had gone missing, she had arranged for a little phoenix to leave this place invisibly and deliver a letter to the Yin clan. No wonder. Swear, let's leave this place tomorrow morning. Yin Xiao said, Yin Ling has run away, so this place is no longer safe. Big brother Yin, in this case, it is even more impossible for us to leave. If my guess is correct, the first thing that Yin Ling would do after escaping would definitely be to find someone to deal with us. Therefore, we only need to wait here for the rabbit. This is also the main reason why I did not allow you to continue sending people to chase after her. It is really unnecessary. She will return. Lung Ruoshua said with absolute certainty. Sure, since that's the case, let's take early precautions. After listening to Lung Ruoxu's words, Yin Xiao understood what she meant. However, they were in the open, while Yin Ling was hiding in the dark. They didn't know the other party's situation, but the enemy knew their background. Therefore, the situation was not in their favor. Chapter 1382, Yin Ling Heirs Revenge 3. Good. Big brother Yin, you don't have to be too worried. Do what you need to do, and don't take this matter to heart. Lung Ruoshua reminded. Yes, they'll make them pay 120% attention and not let them make any more mistakes. Yin Xiao promised. Big brother Yin, this really isn't a big deal. All of you should go back and have a good rest. We'll only be able to deal with the enemy better if we rest our spirits. Lung Ruoshua didn't wish for the Yin family to be restless because of this matter. That would go against her original intentions. Swear, you guys go rest. He'll personally keep watch tonight. Yin Xiao said stubbornly. All right then. Lung Ruoshua knew that Yin Xiao still felt a little apologetic because of Yin Ling Heir's escape, so she didn't force him. She stood up and returned to the tent with the demon. 2 days later, the Yin clan's first elder personally led a team to meet up with Lung Ruoshua and the rest. Looking at the uninvited guests from the Yin residence, Lung Ruoshua felt a headache coming on. Great Elder Yin, why have you come? In fact, the reason she sent someone to deliver the letter was not to let the Yin clan send someone who knew that it would actually be the first elder who personally brought people over. We're here to help you find the fugitive. The great elder of the Yin clan replied matter-of-factly. He had discussed with the clan head for half a day, and the final decision was to send someone to help Lung Ruoshua find Yin Ling. After all, although Yin Ling had already been removed from the Yin clan and was no longer considered a member of the Yin clan, if her escape brought any unnecessary trouble to Lung Ruoshua and the others, the Yin clan might also benefit from it. This was not what they wanted. Who asked the Yin clan to be determined to be on good terms with Lung Ruoshua and the others. Hence, this was the best time for them to express their feelings. Then I'll thank great Elder Yin first. Lung Ruoshua said helplessly. In her heart, she was secretly resenting the little phoenix that she had sent to deliver the letter. After hearing Lung Ruoxu's thoughts, the little phoenix transmitted a message in an aggrieved manner. Master, this has nothing to do with me. I'm just a little bird that doesn't dare to show its face. I'm helpless when they follow me. I don't know why I just can't get rid of them. They're sticking to me, woo. As he said that, little Phoenix even started to cry. All right, don't cry. I'm not blaming you. When Lung Ruoshua saw the little Phoenix's sparkling tears, she quickly coaxed Sai. A child would always be a child. If it wasn't for the fact that all the adult Phoenixes were in seclusion, she wouldn't have sent this young fellow to deliver the letter. How could this innocent little thing be the match of those old foxes? After comforting the crying little phoenix in the bracelet, Lung Roashua smiled and said to the Great Elder, "Since Great Elder Yin is here, let's set up camp here together." Aren't you looking for Yinling?" Yin Tribe's first elder said in a daze. PL's read on MYB0's novel. Brother Een sent people to look for her, but they couldn't find her. That's why we decided to set up camp here and leave after we found Yinling. Lung Roashua explained softly. Even though the Yin family's patriarch and first elder were very friendly, she would not completely trust them and would not reveal her entire plan to them without holding back. Since that's the case, they'll send the Yin family to look for him as well. Yin Tribe's first elder did not doubt his words. Big Brother Een, since Great Elder Yin is willing to help, then let his people go with you to find Yinling. Lung Roashua smiled as she spoke to Een Shao, while secretly giving him a look. "All right," Een Shao quickly replied. "However, if so many people go out together, everyone won't have time to rest. It's better to divide into a few small teams and change shifts to look for Yinling heir's whereabouts," he suggested. His suggestion was quickly approved by Lung Roashua and the Yin clan's Great Elder. Then, in order to facilitate their cooperation, Een Shao and the Yin clan's Great Elder decided to split their forces into 3 teams and split into 3 groups to search for Yinling. After searching for a few days, he couldn't even find a single strand of Yinling heir's hair. Een Shao sat by the fire and chatted with the Yin clan's Great Elder. Without realizing it, the topic had turned to Yinling. Een Shao smiled and asked, "Great Elder Yin, could Yinling have already run back to the Yin clan? After all, this place isn't too far from the Yin residence." "Impossible. Even if she returns to Yin City, no one would dare to take her in. She has already been kicked out of the family tree by the Yin clan. If anyone in Yin City takes her in, it would be our Yin clan's doing. Not to mention, before I came here, I also told the city guards that if they see Yinling, they should immediately capture her and not let her enter the city." The Yin clan's Great Elder said very seriously, afraid that Een Shao would suspect that they had hidden Yinling. I'm just asking. Great Elder Yin doesn't need to be so serious." Een Shao said with a satisfied smile. I'm just telling the truth." Great Elder Yin also laughed and couldn't help but secretly think, can you not be serious? He didn't want to be misunderstood by these people. In fact, since the day Yinling was expelled from the Yin family, her life and death had nothing to do with the Yin family. However, after she ran away, he also felt a headache because with Yinling heir's character, it was very likely that she hated the Yin family. Therefore, he had brought people out to look for Yinling heir's whereabouts. "Are you guys talking about me?" At this time, a slightly mocking voice rang in their ears. Een Shao and the Yin clan's Great Elder raised their heads at the same time, just in time to see Yinling, who was standing not far away from them with a smug look on her face. The two looked at each other, but neither of them spoke first. "Are you surprised to see me? I didn't expect you to still be here." "That's good. It saves me the trouble of looking for you guys," Yinling said with a proud smile. Een Shao and the Yin clan's Great Elder still didn't say anything. However, the two of them were thinking to themselves that Yinling must have something to rely on since she was so bold to return here. Sure enough, just as they had expected, the next second they saw the head of the Hong family appear beside Yinling. The two of them even looked very intimate. "Great Elder Yin, it looks like this traitor of your family has joined the Hong family." Een Shao laughed when he saw this. "Yup, I didn't expect that either," Great Elder Yin said, suppressing the anger in his heart. Chapter 1383, Yinling Heir's Revenge. For could it be that she brought the Hong family here to kill us? Een Shao asked, feigning curiosity. "It should be. The Yin clan's first elder gritted his teeth. Hee, you treated Ling like this, so isn't it only right for her to come and take revenge? Hearing the conversation between the two of them, the master of the Hong family beside Yin Linger spoke. Master Hong, may I know who you are to say this? Yin Xiao ignored the smug Yin Ling, and directly asked the Hong family head. I am now Ling Er's husband. The head of the Hong family said with a smile. What's wrong? You're taking a step back? Haven't you always been interested in Shui? Yin Xiao provoked her on purpose. Who did you say was second? When Yin Ling heard Yin Xiao's words, she roared in anger. Damn it, the last thing she wanted to hear right now was that woman's name. She hated Lung Ruoxue to death. She would never forget the torture that Stinky Fox and that handsome man had inflicted on her. During that period of time, she was better off dead than alive. Fortunately, she had pulled through it and now had the strength to take revenge. However, the most unfortunate thing was that she could not kill Lung Ruoxue with her own hands. This would definitely be the greatest regret of her life. Of course it's you, Yin Xiao said with a smile. Then, he couldn't help but ask, curiously, since Master Hong is so confident in avenging Miss Yin, you must have something to rely on. May I know who you have found? Why don't you come out and broaden our horizons? Yin Xiao's divine sense could sense the surroundings of their campsite. Other than the head of the Hong family and Yin Ling, there were many other troops lying in ambush. Although he couldn't tell their exact number, judging from their auras, they shouldn't be weak. It seemed like the head of the Hong family was determined to win this battle. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought so many people. Furthermore, the strength of these people was obviously not from the godly continent. Don't worry, they'll let you know, the head of the Hong family said with a smile. Then, he started to look around. After searching for a while, he did not see the person he was looking for. He could not help but feel disappointed. Master Hong, are you looking for us? Suddenly, Lung Ruoxue's voice rang in everyone's ears. Following that, they saw a few handsome men and women walking out of the largest tent, as well as a snow-white fox. When Master Hong and Yin Ling saw Lung Ruoxue and the others, their hearts were completely different. Yin Ling was filled with hatred, but Master Hong was reluctant to part with them. Master Hong's eyes were fixed on the devastatingly beautiful Lung Ruoxue. He didn't look away until Yin Ling pinched him in anger. He then regained his senses and tried his best to hide his loss of self-control. He said coldly, Miss Lung, I didn't expect to see you again. Let's settle the old and new scores together today. Hearing Master Hong's words, Lung Ruoxue raised her eyebrows and asked curiously, Master Hong, I know that there are old scores between us. What is this new one? PL's read on MYB0's novel. COM in the new one. Yin Linger said loudly. You? There's no new score between us. Lung Ruoxue laughed nonchalantly, obviously not taking their words to heart. Master Hong, does the first elder of the Hong family know that you've come to seek revenge? Lung Ruoxue asked again. That old thing is old, and his mind is not clear. That's why he gave so much compensation. He's no longer the first elder of the Hong family. The head of the Hong family said proudly. With the support of the people he had found, the great elder of the Hong family could do nothing to him. Not only that, he had even imprisoned the great elder. If there were no accidents, the great elder would probably have to stay in his own courtyard in the future. It would be a dream for him to come out and do anything. It seems like someone is supporting Master Hong. Lung Ruoxue understood. Not bad. It's because of our support that Master Hong is able to show off his skills. He was just a great elder, yet he dared to ride on the head of the family head and act like a tyrant. This is preposterous. Suddenly, a loud and clear voice rang out. Following that, a few dozen tall and burly men walked out from the dark. The person in the lead was of unknown age. He had a full beard and his body was exceptionally tall and strong. His eyes were filled with a bright light. When he saw Lung Ruoxue, he revealed a lecherous glint and could not help but praise her in his heart. What a stunning beauty! The boy from the Hong family did not lie to him. The man's gaze made the evildoer extremely unhappy. Killing intent rose in his heart. In his eyes, these people were already dead. No, even if they died, he would not let go of those who dare to have designs on Shui. This also meant that these people were destined to have a tragic end. Chapter 1384. Ants 1. Who are you? Lung Ruashu squinted her beautiful eyes and asked indifferently. We're from a main Hong clan of the divine realm. The man in the lead said with a slight smugness. In his heart, he couldn't help but think, their identities would definitely give them a shock, even though they could only use the strength of a high-level deity on the divine mainland. Wasn't it as easy as killing a chicken to deal with a few people from the divine mainland? Oh, I didn't think that the Hong family would be able to afford to hire you. From what I know, the Hong family probably can't afford to pay you too well. Lung Ruashue chuckled and said, since these people were invited by the head of the Hong family, they must have their own motives. However, what she could not understand was what else was there in the Hong family that was worth it for these people. Who said that? I'm very satisfied with the reward he paid this time, because the reward he's paying is you. The man in the lead laughed as he stared at Lung Ruashue with a determined look in his eyes. It's me? However, I don't belong to the Hong clan. What right does he have to treat me as a reward? When Lung Ruashue heard the man's words, she didn't feel angry. On the contrary, she felt that this was too funny. Someone actually wanted to use her as a reward? Wasn't this an empty promise? It wasn't that easy to get a reward. Ha. As long as I capture you, you'll be mine. Isn't it obvious? The leader said matter-of-factly, completely unaware that his words had already provoked a certain someone's displeasure, and that a certain someone had already secretly decided that even if this man died, he would not let him off. You are that confident in yourself. Do you think the people you've brought can deal with all of us? Lung Ruashue was speechless. She sighed in her heart. Even if you're from the divine realm, there's no need to be so arrogant. One had to know that the consequences of being too proud would be very miserable, and underestimating the enemy was a fatal taboo. What's wrong? Are you complaining that we have too few people? Ha. Brothers, all of you, come out and let this beauty see you. As soon as the leader's voice fell, many men in black swarmed out from all directions. Those men had a murderous look in their eyes as they stared at Lung Ruashue and the rest with an unfriendly expression. They tried to use their aura to suppress the other party. However, to their surprise, the other party was not affected at all. They couldn't help but feel suspicious. Lung Ruakshu's beautiful eyes swept across the group of men in black. Her beautiful face revealed a satisfied smile. There were hundreds of them, and even though most of them were at the deity level, they were more than enough to deal with the people on the godly mainland. It was no wonder that the leader was so confident. However, the subordinates he brought were able to deal with others. But it was a pity that they were facing her, that had also doomed these people to a tragedy. Beauty, see that? If you're smart enough to surrender, I might spare your lives. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The man in the lead shouted, Thank you for your good intentions, but can you allow us to discuss this? After all, surrendering is a major event. Lung Ruashue smiled and said slowly, No, even if you surrender, you will still die. At this time, Yin Ling roared in dissatisfaction. She had gone through a lot of trouble to persuade the head of the Hong family to invite people from the main family to take revenge. How could she let these people get away with it? She must kill these people. Since when did a woman get the right to point fingers at the Hong family? Or is it that the members of the Hong family have to listen to this woman? Lung Ruashue ignored Yin Ling, heir's words, and spoke to the leader. Little Hong, make your woman shut up. I'm here, and she has no right to interrupt. After the leader heard Lung Ruakshu's words, he shouted at the Hong family's head in dissatisfaction. Yes, yes, master. The master of the Hong family quickly replied. Then, he pulled Yinling, and whispered a few words in her ear. Yinling, was so scared that she didn't dare to speak anymore. Beauty, are you satisfied now? Seeing that his words were effective, the leader looked at Lung Ruoxue and said proudly, Well, I didn't expect you to have such prestige. I just don't know what your status is in the main family. Lung Ruoxue asked with an innocent look. Beauty, I'm a direct descendant of the Hong family. You won't regret following me. The man in the lead said proudly. I have no problem following you. However, I only like men who are stronger than me. If you can't defeat me, then you can only die in my hands. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. After hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, the leader laughed even more heartily, as if he had just heard a good joke. When he was done laughing, he spoke, Beauty, I will let you know what the strongest man is. Following me is your wisest choice. Oh, really? However, if I follow you, what about the others? Can you not kill them? Lung Ruoxue asked with a face full of anticipation. Of course you can. As long as they surrender, I can spare their lives for the sake of you, Beauty. However, their life or death will be entirely up to you, Beauty. The man in the lead laughed. In other words, if Lung Ruoxue was willing to follow him, then the people around her would naturally not have to die. Otherwise, they would definitely die. Let's discuss this. I can't make this decision on my own. Lung Ruoxue said with a troubled expression. Good. Then you guys should quickly discuss it. My patience is limited. The man in the lead warned. Following that, Lung Ruoxue pulled Yin Xiao and the Yin clan's great elder to the side and started to chat with them through voice transmission. Shua, what do you plan to do? You're not really asking us to surrender, right? Yin Xiao said helplessly. Although the enemy was from the divine realm and seemed extremely powerful, he did not think much of them after seeing their strength. Even if the enemy's numbers seemed to be a little large, he believed that with Shue and the others' devious ideas, they would not be taken seriously at all. When the Yin clan's great elder heard Yin Xiao's words, he didn't express any opinions. He only forced himself to remain calm as he looked at Lung Ruoxue. However, his heart was still beating like a drum. However, when he thought about the strength of Lung Ruoxue, Yin Xiao, and the others, his heart slowly calmed down. Of course I want to, Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Chapter 1385, Ants 2. That's good. Yin Xiao was relieved. As a member of the Yin family from one of the 8 great divine regions, if he surrendered now, he wouldn't be able to explain himself even when he returned to the divine world. His grandfather master would definitely scold him to death. Whoa! As long as he thought of that possibility, he would be afraid. Furthermore, he guessed that only Shue would be able to deal with the eccentric old man and his family. Miss Lung, I wonder what I can do for you. At this time, the Yin clan's first elder also asked via voice transmission. Great elder, you can do whatever you want later, but if you can't beat them in a one-on-one fight, then just beat them up as a group. Lung Ruoxue suggested with an evil smile. Lung Ruoxue's words caused the Yin clan's first elder to be taken aback. Immediately after, cold sweat started to flow down his face. He had not expected this young miss to actually order them to gang up on him. However, when he thought about how Lung Ruoxue and the others did not play by the rules, he did not find it strange. In fact, not only the Yin clan, but many people from the godly mainland and the entire godly realm would choose to fight one-on-one during battles. It was rare for them to fight in groups. This was not because they were noble by nature, but a habit that they had developed over the years. Therefore, when he heard Lung Ruoxue's words, he was stunned for a moment but quickly returned to normal. The other party's strength was above the Yin clan's. If the Yin clan didn't want to suffer too heavy losses, they really had to gang up on him. After thinking it through, he quickly accepted Lung Ruoxue's suggestion. From this, it could be seen that the Yin clan's first elder was a flexible and adaptable person. This kind of person usually lived longer than those who were stubborn. Looking at the Yin clan's first elder's expression, Lung Ruoxua knew that the old man had thought things through. She then reminded him, in a while, everyone should act according to the circumstances. When dealing with the enemy, we must not be soft-hearted. We must let these people know that we are not pushovers. Since we have come, we can forget about returning to the divine realm. Yes, yes. Yin Xiao and the Yin clan's great elder nodded. Following that, Lung Ruoxua brought them to the Hong family and said with a faint smile, "If we surrender, are there any benefits? There are no benefits. If you resist to the end, the only outcome is death. However, if you surrender, I can let you go." The man in the lead said in a clear voice, "Since there are no benefits, we choose not to surrender." Lung Ruoxua laughed evilly. As soon as she said this, the Hong family members were all stunned. They didn't expect that in such a situation where the strong and weak were clearly distinguished, the other party would still have the thought of resisting. This made them feel very incredulous. At this time, they still didn't know the true strength of the other side, and they didn't know that there were many battle maniacs in the other side. Not knowing the true strength of the enemy had also doomed them to learn a painful lesson. You've really made the right choice. The leader was stunned for a moment before he asked in disbelief. I believe in my own choice. Lung Ruoxua said calmly. That's good. Since this is your choice, don't you regret it? After the man in the lead finished speaking, he gave his subordinates a look. In an instant, the members of the Hong family surrounded Lung Ruoxua and the others. From their posture, it was obvious that they wanted to use their advantage in numbers to launch a group attack. Are you trying to gang up on me? Lung Ruoxua asked despite knowing the answer. Ha ha, wasn't this obvious? However, don't worry, beauty. I'll personally use my strength to conquer you. The man in the lead said. It was obvious that his target was Lung Ruoxua. However, there was someone who would not let his wishful thinking come true. If you want to use your strength to conquer Shui, you'll have to get past me first. The demon laughed coldly. Who are you? The man in the lead looked at the man who was as handsome as a demon and said with a face full of disdain. If he did not guess wrong, this person should be the pretty boy who lived off a woman that the Hong family's kid had mentioned. Oh, he did have the capital to be a pretty boy, but it was a pity that he had met him. He had never liked men who could win women's hearts with their looks alone. So this man was dead meat. I am Shui's man. If you want to have Shui, you must kill me first. Otherwise, you will be the one to die. The demon said coldly. A man who lives off a woman is actually so arrogant. Today, they'll let you see what a real man is. The man in the lead roared angrily. And when he said that he was a man who lived off a woman, Ziyu and the others were struck by lightning. When Ziyu and the others heard that man's words, they suppressed the laughter in their hearts and secretly thought to themselves, how bold must he be to dare to say that that demon is a man who lives off a woman? They could already imagine how furious the evildoer was. At the thought of this, the few of them subconsciously distanced themselves from the evildoer who was slowly emitting cold air. Even Snow Shadow did not dare to make fun of the evildoer at this moment, because it was very clear how perverted that man was. Woo, that was a fellow that could not be provoked. AI. The poor Hong family. They probably didn't know that their heads didn't belong to them anymore. Are you living off a woman? They'll let you know how powerful I am as a man who lives off a woman. The evildoer was neither angry nor annoyed as he spoke with a smile on his face. However, Lung Ruoxua, who was well aware of the evildoer's nature, knew that this was a sign that the evildoer was about to get angry. She simply did not dare to imagine what would happen to this self-righteous man from the Hong family. Then come, a beauty. Open your eyes wide and watch. They'll let you know what a real man is. The man in the lead said proudly. Then, he made the first move, and everyone saw a light blue divine power fly toward the demon. The demon looked on coldly with his arms crossed, as if he was looking at a clown. He looked at the man not far away and waited for the water attribute skill to fly only a few centimeters away from him. He didn't even dodge, but let the skill hit him. When Yin Xiao and the rest saw this, they couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat for the demon. However, they were also a little puzzled. Why didn't the demon avoid the divine power? The demon who was hit by the leader's water attribute divine skill had already been enveloped by a huge water attribute divine power. The people outside did not know what was going on inside, let alone whether the demon was safe or dead. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.